ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. We are finally here to the biggest day. I guess you can't call it the granddaddy of them all. So you got to call it the daddy of them all. Super Bowl Sunday, baby. And that man right there that just ran in that's out of breath. He does the introduction, so I'm going to go ahead and back off and give him his job back.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to what they call the Sunday Rise. This morning, we ask you to rise up and get ready to participate in Super Bowl Sunday. And what we do in this thing is we make it so you start your week off with the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be. And that is the Sideline Junkies Podcast Network, Sunday Rise. Ladies and gentlemen, I am just a mere mortal here to live and breathe amongst you people. But what I do is give you sports in the only way I can and the only way we can as a group. And with that being said, there's Flying Brian, there's the Gentleman Jack, there's the Boss B, there's the Correspondent, baby, there's Big Lee Ice, and then there's the big guy KG. And mere mortals, I am just the Midnight Rider here to be the provider of your information and your sports tone. And with that being said, I'm going to turn this over to the host with the most, because this is what we do and this is how we do on Sunday morning. Welcome to Sunday Rise, ladies and gentlemen.
Damn, I got a cap, man. I'm ready to run through a brick wall right now.
Who you telling?
To do?
I'm already fired up, coming out the tunnel like, let's go, man. First play, 50 gut, let's get it.
Let's go, baby.
First and foremost, the most important part, gentlemen.
All right, what's up, fellas? How y'all doing today?
I'm doing great, man.
Doing good.
Yeah, good.
All right,
Fantastic.
There's some kind of game on later today, right? I think that we're.
I think something happens today. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Things happen. People happen. Let's start this off with the way I think we wanted to start this, and this reason why we got the people in the room. This week or yesterday, we learned that at 91 years old, Sonny Jurgensen passed away. So I know it's a sad time. Rest in peace, Sonny J. But I just want to get you guys' thoughts, and that's why I wanted to open with this and just give us a window to have some, just to let everything out. So I don't know who wants to start. I know all you guys have some connections. You know what? Let's go, Gentleman Jack first. And then go Jack, Brian, Correspondent, Lee Ice, KG to me.
Well, thank you, Midnight Rider. I'm honored to be first talking about the passing of one of the first quarterbacks I really, truly ever knew. You know, back in the 70s, that was me. I was watching the Over the Hill gang, the Redskins with the big R on the side of their helmet. And, you know, the quarterbacks with 1 bar or 2 bars. In the DMV, when I was growing up in the 70s, you know, you had the 2, or should I say 3 pioneers of the passing game in the NFL, as I feel. And you had people talking about Sammy Ball, people talking about the cat up the road in Baltimore, KG's favorite guy, Johnny Unitas, and then you had everybody talking about Sonny Jurgensen. And I was blessed to be approximately 8 years old and going to the Dancing Crab on Wisconsin Avenue with my father and meet Sonny Jurgensen and Johnny Unitas. They signed napkins for me. God knows where they are. But that's just what I remember. Sonny Jurgensen is Mr. Redskin to me because that's when I became a Redskin fan. 6, 7, 8, you know what I'm saying? And just his mannerisms on the field, his body language on the field. Hell, Sonny Jurgensen, he tore his Achilles tendon, breaking huddle. I mean, you know, just the simplest thing. Injured such a battle-tested quarterback, that always tripped me out. So, yeah, I don't want to take away from everybody else's time, but to me, Sonny Jurgensen is my Mr. Redskin, is first quarterback that I know seeing them play the position. So, and we followed him to the booth, and I'm sure a lot of you guys are going to talk about his time in the booth. There was nothing like Sonny Sam, and what was it? Huff, Sam Huff, and Sonny Sam Huff, and who was it? Right?
Frank. Sam, Sonny, and Frank.
Sam,
Yeah,
Sonny, and Frank. Well, nothing like it. I used to turn the volume on my TV down and listen to them cats on the radio. So, yeah, that's what I got. Flying Brian, what you got?
Yeah, that's perfect segue. It's like we rehearsed it. So I'm the young buck in this group. So I obviously didn't grow up and watch him, but he's my dad's favorite player. But my memories of Sonny Jurgensen are the radio. So my dad would turn down and sync it up on TV the best he could back then. But he would take it one step further if he had to work, and he would tape the game on VHS, stay away from any radio or anything or any newspaper, and then he would actually record. We could do this with the stereo we had. He could record the radio feed on a cassette tape. We would set that up for him when he was at work, and then he did this once or twice because it didn't work a lot of Sundays. And then when he would sync that up, and because he had to listen to Sam, Sonny, and Frank while he watched the football game. And to this day, when we watch games, sometimes he still listens to the radio feed because he prefers it. And he used to have season tickets, and when we would go to games, he would bring his Walkman and his headphones and listen to the live feed while we were in the stadium. Everybody would be up celebrating a touchdown, and he'd be sitting in his chair like this so he could hear the feed. And that was back when Sonny Jurgensen was still doing it. So my fandom of Sonny Jurgensen is my dad being obsessed and having to listen to him on the radio anytime the Redskins played. But obviously I've gone back and looked at clips that I've know the history of him now, and he's one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. Unfortunately, he's in that category of not winning anything, but nonetheless, he's still a Hall of Famer. And at the time, he set a lot of numbers. And we talked about it before we came on the air. The old backwards pass, the old rumor is that Patrick Mahomes is going to one day do it in a game, but Jurgensen's already done it in a game. So he was a pioneer and a groundbreaker. And for my family, it was but 91. Can't argue with that. If I can make it to 91, that's a good thing. So,
yeah, I'll go next. My dad was a Sonny Jurgensen guy, big time. I didn't see Sonny play myself, but seeing interviews with Sonny, one of the main things he really talked about was when Lombardi showed up for that 1 year, how much of an impact that really changed Sonny, his perspective on playing ball and life in general. But like, how many people with the same organization get to be a legend 2 times on the field and off the field? My memories of Sonny Jurgensen are him sitting in the booth or before a Super Bowl in Minneapolis with his cigar, with George Michael, Doc Walker sitting next to him, and he was just the coolest dude you'd ever that you saw on TV. Everyone gravitated to him. He owned the room when he walked in. You guys mentioned the booth, with Frank, and him and Sam were incredible. We forget in DC, we as far as like sports anchors are concerned, you think about, we had Glenn Brenner, Warner Wolf, George Michael, Steve Buckhantz, and others. So yeah, R.I.P. Sonny. This cigar here will have a toast to you later today.
I guess it's my turn now. I actually remember, even though I was a little kid, I actually remember Sonny Jurgensen's last game. I was over my godparents' house. We was playing the Rams in the playoffs. And I can remember my godparents and my parents, mainly my father and my godfather, arguing, man, they should put Sonny in. They should put Sonny in. He was playing the Rams in the playoffs, 1974. I still have a memory of that. That's the only game that I vividly can remember him playing in. Of course, I watch all the old highlights. But I also remember My favorite member of Sonny Jurgensen, y'all mentioned him in the booth, Sonny Sam and Frank. Used to do the Redskin report with George Michael. But my favorite memory of Sonny Jurgensen, and I don't know if y'all are old enough to remember this, Jack, you should. Redskins sidelines, him and Glenn Brenner. That was the best. Came on every Monday, 7:30, Channel 9, after the Redskins won the game or lost, Redskins sideline was the best. They would have a guest on there, mainly whoever was the player of the week. They would come on. I think it ended. I'm pretty sure it ended Glenn Brenner's in 1991 when Glenn Brenner got sick and passed away. But Redskins sideline is my favorite memory of Sonny because you remember so much when you're young. Things that happen to you when you're young is stick with you. And there was nothing like getting ready, going to school, then especially after the Redskins win, and you want to know, damn, who's going to be the guest on Redskins sideline tonight? The other thing that I always loved about Sonny was whether it was on the Redskins sideline or the Redskin report or the radio pregame show, you know he's always going to pick the Skins to win. No matter who they were playing, no matter what their record was, Sonny was going to always pick the Skins. So that's my favorite memory of Sonny.
No, that's it's funny you say that, Lee Ice. And I apologize for the background noise. But the one thing and the two things I remember is I never forget Redskins sideline because he would come on, like you said, on Mondays, and they had a studio audience, and sometimes the players would come through the audience to get to the stage. That was one of the biggest things. I think for me, it's weird. It's my Redskin experience is interesting because, like, I remember being a 6-year-old going up to Carlisle, and the first two people I meet is Mark May, and I think it's Russ Grimm. As I'm walking, as they walk up to the thing, and for the next 13 years, I want to say, we were at Carlisle all the time, and the sunny part of this for me is, I think Lee Ice said it the best way. It was always Redskins report, Redskins sideline in the games. And I felt bad towards the end of Sonny's reign because I thought he lost his fastball, and I thought they should have taken him off sooner instead of letting him languish. But Sonny was the guy that could tell you anything. He could tell you to play. Like when we watch Tony Romo now, Sonny was doing what Tony Romo did. But he just wasn't as, like, he would say, oh, I think they're going to run this. He would just tell you what the play was, what was going to happen, how it was going to happen, or they should have ran this, they should have ran that. And the banter between him and Sam going back and forth about offense and defense. And like they really had their own little fight going on because he'd be like, Sam, tell your defense, get their stuff together. You know what I'm saying? Or Sam would say, tell the offense to move the ball. And then if he was wrong and all that stuff, it was perfect, man. It was one of those things where, I think about like Lee Ice, Tim, and I at their place where we just have this playful banter. No matter when we see each other, how long it's been, it's always going to be the same because that's who we are. And that's what I see with Sonny Sam. They just have this banter back and forth, and it's going to be interesting. At those pearly gates when they interact and they talk and they meet, because it's going to be a bunch of memories and great stories being told by guys that are historians of the game and historians of life. God, there's a bunch of Sonny stories I heard. I used to I was the weird kid because I used to like sitting around my dad and my uncle now. And instead of going outside and playing with everybody, I'd sit there and listen to those old cats talk about, Sonny, and they would talk about Sonny with this reverence that was unbelievable, man. It was like Sonny almost was my favorite player, one of my favorite players because of osmosis or whatever it's called, because they embedded so much Sonny Jurgensen into my life that I had no choice but to like and love Sonny. I never saw him play, but just the stories and my dad and them used to say, "Oh, it didn't matter what the score was, what the game was. We knew Sonny was going to take us down the field and score points, and we may not have won, but we was going to score a bunch of points that day because Sonny was playing." Am I right, Lee Ice?
You're right, man. There's not. I mean, Angie's parents and my parents, the best friends
Right.
over 60 years of friendship. So I remember us watching the games, me, Curtis, and Angie, over either it was at our house or their house. And like I said, 1974, even though I was only 6 years old, and I can remember them, man, they got to put Sonny in. They got to put Sonny in. And then Sonny came in. Unfortunately, we lost the game. Sonny threw 3 interceptions. But if you, like you say, if you listen to the old cats growing up, they put it in your head how great Sonny Jurgensen was. And whether you saw him play or not, you love Sonny Jurgensen without even really watching this guy. You know what I'm saying? He became, like Jack said, Mr. Redskin, and he probably still is Mr. Red. There's only one other person in Redskin history that's probably going to top Sonny Jurgensen, and that's Joe Gibbs. But Sonny, from the day you're born, if you grew up in a Redskin family, you're gonna know who Sonny Jurgensen is. You're gonna know all his accomplishments. You're gonna know he used to go out and party all night and drink Cuddy and get up, him and Billy Kemp. You're gonna know all these things before you're 10 years old. Trust me.
So for the fellas that are on the panel, am I wrong to say that I know there's 3 guarantees on the Mount Rushmore of Redskin fandom? It's Sonny, it's Gibbs, and it's Riggo.
Daryl might be up there.
Yeah,
Daryl
I was thinking Daryl Green too. Yeah,
And he's number 4. He's number 4.
Probably,
Yeah,
I would say, yeah.
I go there.
You can't have Redskin history without those 4 people.
I agree.
Go ahead, Jack.
I just want to take a minute now that I noticed my guy Lee Ice over there. Did you have a rough night last night, bro?
Hey, I get my Sonny Jurgensen on. I'm gonna go out and party. I'm gonna make it to work the next day.
I figured you had a rough night because you got your shirt on backwards.
No, that's how he rock his shirt.
I know he does.
The small little blemish on Jurgensen for you guys, the small little blemish for Jurgensen as far as being a Skins fan is that he wasn't drafted here.
Oh,
Right.
Okay.
He came
was
from Philly. He was traded.
It was an Eagle, right? It was an Eagle.
I thought you were going to say he was a Duke Blue Devil was the blemish, but okay, I'll go with that.
I'm 100% not going to say that for sure. Definitely not.
Hey, one historical event about Sonny. He was at the game, I think, that Wilt scored 100, I heard.
So
He said
there's
he was at the game. Yeah.
Oh, is
there's
that
2
right?
legends going around about that. So one part of the legend is that there was an NFL game before that where, like, you know how the NFL back in the day, they would play basketball games.
Mhm.
And on that day, Sonny Jurgensen scored 38 points in the basketball game. And he was the second leading scorer that night in the building. And he was only topped by Wilt Chamberlain, who scored
With
100.
the 100. Yeah. I heard that
Wow.
because I heard he was a good basketball player too.
Oh, all
Yeah, he was
around
supposed to-
athlete.
He was supposed to go to the greatest school ever, North Carolina, and play basketball, but he decided to go with the sloppy seconds and play football at Duke. Y'all do know who won the game last night, right? Carolina and Duke. Y'all know who won that?
I think Jack knows.
Yeah, right here.
Questions, because somewhere in the world I was told that Carolina wouldn't win. Carolina wasn't that good. Blah blah blah. But
Man, you lead the game for 0.4 seconds, lucky ass.
In the words of Sarah, to win the game, you have to win the game. That's all I'm gonna say. Big guy KG, you got, baby.
I'm sitting here and I'm listening to you guys, and I'm sitting here and I'm smiling now. Brian said he the young puppy. I think uh I think I got Brian by a couple of years, but I knew Sonny on TV. And one thing I'll always do is I'll give flowers. And Midnight Rider, you know, because you and I went back and forth about this a long time ago, about how I felt about Sonny in the booth. Now, I'm an emotional guy. I
We didn't know that.
Nah, so.
I cried when they took Sonny out of the booth because I was like, we already don't have Sam. You already took Frank from him. You can't take Sonny. My memories for Sonny is him in the booth and he's saying we need a turnover. He started rubbing his arrowhead. And Larry Mike used to always say, Sonny, you got to rub your arrowhead. We need a turnover here. He would rub that arrowhead and we would get the turnover we needed every time. And I said it pre-show, Sonny Jurgensen, I blame him for the reason that my elbows hurt the way they do because I tried to throw 40-yard darts behind my back. Never got to 40. I could do it about 30 at one point in time. But I could throw the ball behind my back tight spiral on the point for 30 yards because I tried to emulate him. The way to tie it back into the podcast, we've been doing this since 2017. That whole Redskin Report era that we grew up on, that gave birth to a show we used to do here every Monday called Redskins Perspective. We did it every season, every Monday. And it was basically the same way. It was built around Redskin Report. That was one of our inspirations to start on this journey because we wanted to bring that type of journalism back. So having somebody like that in your backyard, and he still lived in DC. Him and Billy Kilmer still hung out together till the very end. Man, Vince Lombardi made a comment. He said, if I had Sonny Jurgensen in Green Bay, we would have never lost the game.
Yep.
And I always say if George Allen would have trusted him more, the success that Washington could have had more success under George Allen than what they did. But if he would have trusted him more, but he didn't. So that's where my Sonny memories go. And I'm just, man, 91. And I think about something the boss BJ tells me all the time. You got to look at 91 years. That's a life lived. So you can't be sad about a life lived. So.
Yeah.
Matty Ice, welcome to the building, baby. What's going on? How you feeling?
We're doing
cold.
Good. It is. It's a nice balmy 1 degree here today. 1.
Yes, sir. Woohoo!
1.
Anything over 0 is a blessing, baby.
You know it's sad when you go into an ice rink and you're going in there to warm up.
Dang.
So do you have, Matty Ice, do you have a memory, Sonny Jurgensen, anything you want to offer to that conversation?
I mean, not a lot. I mean, obviously, when I lived in the DC area, he was on the radio broadcast, and I always enjoyed listening to him. You know, that's my knowledge of Sonny is from listening to them on the radio calls. And I always thought he was good on there. So, you know, I know he's a Redskin legend. So, yeah, I'll let you guys have your time on that.
Any thoughts from Don?
What up? Well, first and foremost, it's nice to see so many junkies all in the same place at the same time. Must be somebody special to invoke this much opportunity for everybody to come together and as KG would say, give flowers. You know, for Sonny, for me, it was, you know, my dad's a huge Redskins fan / Commanders fan now, even though he doesn't really like that Commander's word, but you know, just hearing him talk and you know, share stories and his memories, you know, that's really what it was all about. And everybody else, I'm not going to take time to echo because everybody has already laid out the foundation of what makes for a phenomenal athlete and human being. But I did want to say that, you know, I had to give thanks to the Midnight Rider for asking the People's Choice to call the People's Choice to show up. To be able to talk about the People's Choice while thinking about
Well,
all
the
the things that the
People's
People's Choice wanted to do in a football game. So thank you, Midnight Rider, for allowing the People's Choice to call out to the People's Choice to see the People's Choice on a Midnight Rider show while celebrating with the Midnight Rider and the People's Choice about the People's Choice. For those that have no clue as to what the hell that was just some quick payback to going Midnight Rider for riding on the WrestleManiacs and putting himself over in third, fourth, fifth, sixth. I don't know where the hell he was stopping at, but god dang, I hadn't seen somebody put themselves over so much ever until the Midnight Rider decided he wanted to come on. But I had to turn around the mothership and do a quick little flyby because I know you guys have a packed show to say congratulations on all the fun. Sorry BJ had to get off. He's probably going to get us some more goodies and stuff like that. But you guys have a great show. I won't keep you long, and I know we got some more special guests coming up. And happy Super Bowl Sunday. I'd give you a pick, but neither one of them are truthfully my team. So we'll see what happens on that. But if I had to,
where's your lean?
If I had to, I'd go with the Patriots.
So Don Rodriguez decides that Don Rodriguez feels like Don Rodriguez should go with the Patriots in this situation. I appreciate that, Don Rodriguez.
Hey, that's only because Don Rodriguez wasn't too sure. But when the back's up against the wall, like which one does he hate more? 9 out of 10, that's probably going to be how it's going to play out that they'll win. So I'm just trusting Don Rodriguez to give the Don Rodriguez approach. But naturally, Don Rodriguez will stick to his lane, which is Saturdays on the WrestleManiacs. Make sure you check us out. So,
what time can they catch you on Saturdays, Don Rodriguez?
Can't
do the whole bit and not give you time.
Well, okay, no problem, man. 9 o'clock. Make sure at KG we're gonna give some love on Saturday. We're gonna help the people out with their Valentine's stuff. You want to do that?
On Christmas,
we have a love segment. KG, go on, serenade everybody.
Day.
Say it again.
We give love on Christmas Day.
There you go. See, that's what I'm talking about. You can't give him to do anything on Valentine's Day, but check us out 9 p.m. Saturdays. It's good to see everybody. I'm gonna jump off so that way you got more room to get more guests on. But good luck on your picks. And if the Patriots win, I told you so. So, all right, fellas, have a good Sunday.
Hey Don, I'm proud of the job you did putting yourself over right there. That was perfect. Yeah.
That's what I do. I'm only emulating the Midnight Rider approach. Hey.
Sometimes when you are the Midnight Rider, you can only do things that the Midnight Rider does. You know what I'm saying? But I appreciate what you did there.
That sounds about right. I apologize if he starts showing us through the rest of the show. The bit is there now. So I apologize, correspondent Lee Ice, Jack, Maddie, Flying Brian. If he goes into it, just blame the boss BJ. Don't put that on me.
All right.
Thank you, sir. Peace out, guys.
See you.
Before we move into this segment, Jump, I said this pre-show and just wanted to touch on it real quick. The news came out that former Redskin cornerback Barry Wilburn passed away in a house fire 2 days ago.
Damn.
Just wanted to give you gentlemen a little time to reflect on that real quick. And
he led the league in interceptions 1987.
Yeah, he led the league in getting burned a couple times too. Barry will be burned.
Call him Barry will get burned.
Yes, sir.
Well, if you guys remember, he gave up that first TD in that Denver Super Bowl when Denver went up 10-0. But he also ended up with 2 picks in that game, later in that game as well. So he was an Ole Miss product. Unique thing about him is he won a Grey Cup as well with the Canadian League. So Barry Warburton, and he's also the first player I remember, guys, that got tested positive for crack. By the way,
he was hanging with Marion Barry.
Yeah, at the Vista Motel. Yeah, he was down there with him.
My boy sold it to him.
So you guys know that the Redskins in Super Bowl history is probably one of the only they've had on the first possession, and I think even the first play, they've had touchdowns scored on them in 2 of their Super Bowls. And the first one was Jimmy Cephalo in Miami.
Yeah.
And then the second one is the one that Denver scored on their first play. And then they didn't look back after that in the second quarter with those 35 points. But
well, they also had in Super Bowl 17, Fulton Walker ran the
punt return. Yes.
Punt return.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, no, 41. Fulton Walker.
If you think about it, Redskins Super Bowls have some of like big plays. Fulton Walker kickoff return, Jimmy Cephalo long bomb. Okay, Rigo's 43-yard. Then you go to Super Bowl 22. John Elway, first play of the game. Ricky Sanders, 80 yards. Timmy Smith, probably 60-some yards. Oh, I forgot about Super Bowl 18, the one they lost. Block punt, Jeff Hayes touchdown. Marcus Allen, famous run for a touch. Think about all the big plays that have happened in Redskins Super Bowl. I can't remember none in Super Bowl 26. And
there was none in 20. I don't remember that one.
Oh, you talking about the one with Buffalo?
No, I don't know.
I mean, it started with Thurman Thomas not having his helmet.
Yeah.
So that's the start. And then there's the Kurt Gouveia interception.
Now, if he would have scored, then we can put that on.
That whole season, that whole team was amazing in its own right. Let's do this, guys. Let's take a quick break, reset, and chalk up another conversation and move on off of Sonny real quick, if you guys don't mind. Unless somebody has something else they want to add about Sonny before I get out of this.
Is there something else to talk about? We don't have nothing else to talk about, do we?
Oh, I mean, Brian, you might not know about this, but there's a thing called the Super Bowl.
The Super Bowl?
Sometimes teams go to the Super Bowl and they win them.
Oh, they
just don't go to participate.
Oh, is that a thing?
That's a thing.
Oh, all right.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick break, come back, and start a new conversation. And I'm not going to let you know what the conversation is until we come back. So here we go. Sideline Links. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome back to the Sideline Junkies Podcast Network. This is the Sideline Junkies Sunday Rise, and we're doing our Super Bowl special today. So if you don't know, now you know. And what we got going on right now is something special. There's a guy in the room that likes to go out and hang out with high school teams. This isn't no Jeffrey Epstein thing. This is him going to watch basketball games.
Yeah, word that Rider.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Did you really go there, man?
he was trying.
But no, this is my guy. He does this. He and Coach Powell are the providers of our high school information when it comes to teams doing things tomorrow, pretenders or contenders at 7 p.m. We got Coach Nick, I think his last name is Goley, coming back to continue the recruiting special and talking about kids and the way they transfer and all that stuff. But with that being said, I'm going to give this stage up to the man with the plan that goes out and see girls basketball, sees boys basketball. He goes to be the face and the place and allow people to marinate in the essence and the aura that is Jack Carr. Take it away.
Yeah. Thank you, Midnight Rider, for that shaky introduction, my man. Let's the high school and the girls and the boys, let's make sure we word that good. But hey, the field trips have been a blast since earlier this summer, you know. A bunch of us junkies went out to some football games, and then I'm picking it up here with the basketball. But the winter weather, as everybody's calling it, the snowcrete, has been putting a damper in my fun these past couple of weeks. So this week, I ended up staying pretty close to home. I went on over to Kent Island to check out the Kent Island versus Kent County matchup between Bayside's conference rivals. And I witnessed some gritty ball from both teams, man. KI, they came out with their victory 65-50. you have some incredible ball players over there for this Ken Island ball team, but one in particular is senior forward center Colton Thomas, man. The young man had 22 points. He was effortless at the foul line. Every time he got to the foul line in a tough situation, he managed to put the ball in the bucket. He's a great senior leader. You can go on Sideline Junkies page and in the passenger seat page, as well as TikTok and Reels, and see Colton's interview. Such a fine young man. And he explains how being only one of 3 seniors on this squad, that he feels like a big brother to these guys, and he's really embraced the youngers and is, working them up to be successful Buccaneers next season. And then, it was great to be in the house because my daughter went to Ken Island High School. I'm a Ken Island 25-year resident, but I have not been in the building in 2 years since my daughter graduated. So it was emotional going back to Ken Island. I spent many a Sundays, many a weekdays doing baseball clinics in that gym, baseball workouts. So I'm very familiar with the facility. And to see parents that have younger kids that I wasn't aware about that were still following Ken Island sports, it just felt great. And I feel that the network and In the Passion as well got many followers from that trip to Ken Island basketball. Now, Friday, I took a ride on over to PG County. I was contacted through In the Passenger Seat Facebook page by a family member of a girls McNamara player, Bishop McNamara High School, Forestville, Maryland. I was familiar they were the number 1 team in the state, and they were playing Elizabeth Seton, who is the number 9 girls team in the state. But it was brought to my attention that Archbishop McNamara is the number 1 girls basketball team in the nation, Craig. In the nation, Craig. And I had to get out there. And to have a McNamara against Seton matchup, I went to Bladensburg, right around the school from Seton. I married a Seton girl, so I'm very familiar with that school as well. So caught up with Coach Calhoun, who is the football coach at McNamara and past guest on In the Passenger Seat with me and Midnight Rider. So Coach Calhoun took me in, told me, come to the back door, don't mess around out front. So slid me right in, got me in the coach's office, introduced me to Coach. I got to, dap up some players before game and sit mid-court, front row. And I tell you guys, I watched D1 quality basketball on a girls' level Friday night. It was tremendous. Earlier in January, Bishop McNamara and Elizabeth Seton matched up January 6th, and they had an overtime game. Well, what happened down here in Forestville? Overtime again. And Bishop McNamara was able to hold off Elizabeth Seton 55-54 in overtime. McNamara was led by junior strong forward Candace Samuels, 18 points. And I can't leave out sophomore guard Jayla King, 15 points. Jayla was everywhere on that court, on the defensive side, the offensive side, and she is only a sophomore. So I look forward to following Jayla King and Candace Samuels up there at McNamara throughout the playoffs as well as next season. It's just been great getting out to these games, and I'm going to, during the Super Bowl and whatnot, I'm going to be looking at the schedule to see what I'm going to line up for next week. I'm going to try to get out to 2 events next week. I do know I am supposed to be going to St. Francis on the 12th. St. Francis, man, I'm going to say, I think it's Spalding, almost 100%. St. Francis matches up with Spalding on the 12th, and then I'll let you know the second game I'm going to. Fellas, you got any questions about some of this high school ball I've been checking out?
I think it's cool, man. You go into the local schools and getting the word out on the local high school teams. I think it's cool. Also, big fan of your hat, the Crucial Catch. I know your sister is a survivor. Like I am a 2-time survivor, so shout out to that. Maybe go put mine on. But yeah, I think it's cool what you did. I was watching the interviews yesterday, and it gives them a platform that they probably don't have, and get a little exposure out there for the local sports teams. Cool, very cool.
Well, that's correct, Brian. What you're saying about a platform for them to be seen and to be heard, because everybody knows the Washington Post took away their sports section just this week. And I used to wait for the Washington Post every Thursday. I believe it's Thursdays it comes out. It's got the rankings and it's got the leading scorers, leading rebounders, and the week schedule. So, you know, they got sites out here like Max Preps, which is rarely up to date. And you got NFHS, which is probably one of the biggest national high school stages. And as far as Maryland, there's a couple smaller stages. So I think what me and Coach Devon Powell are doing between contenders and pretenders, and in the past, you see, we're really covering high school sports in Maryland pretty well right now. So we're just stepping up the ladder of, being a platform to give these kids some flowers. And I think it's well-deserved, because a lot of them don't even get flowers when they go home,
Yep. Cool.
Anybody else? Okay. That's all I got.
I said, I don't know if you guys heard what I said, but I said some of the dopest things when I was muted. But no, let's take time, because what we're doing right now, I think, is something special, and I want to encourage the fellas. I think it's the 21st of February. Actually, I know it's the 21st of February. If we can get out, there's a wrestling tournament. I think it's at Laurel High School. That Coach Mark has got going on. He wants us to come out and be a presence as a station. I'm gonna call us a station, as a network. And we all just we do interviews. We just watch and observe how it goes. Jack has done this with me before, where we were at like the PVA boxing, and we'd grab a kid off of off the mat, and off the ring, and we do an interview with them. But let's try to catch some of these kids coming off the mat on the 21st. It doesn't matter what show you on. I'm gonna let you guys know right now. It doesn't matter the show you're on. This is a Sideline Junkies thing. So if you can make it out, let's just be there and let's make it happen. There's no credentials needed. Just give me a heads up, or reach out to Coach Mark Jackson, and we can see what we need to do to get in the building as a group. Go ahead, Jack.
And that is correct. And some events, this here is an in-house event with Coach Powell and Laurel, and the relationship we have with Laurel. So the credential thing might be, but yeah, a lot of the times I'm doing legwork, getting a hold of ADs and head coaches, and I want them to know Sideline Junkies Podcast Network in the past sheet is coming, and what I expect, what I would like, and what you will offer me. So it's all planned out before I'm not just getting there saying, "Hey, what's up, coach?" And I'd love, anybody to go. If you know of a high school game your little cousin plays on, because I'm getting reached out to now by family members and coaches. Hey, gentlemen, a lot of them are just calling me gentlemen, man. Call me Jack, but it's all good. You can call me anything but late for dinner, baby. So, they're like, you gotta come see my niece, or you gotta come see my nephew at the wrestling. Bowie High School wants me to come check out wrestling, and they're not getting. Some of them aren't giving me enough notice to really plan the event. But I'm loving that the network and me and Devon are starting to be noticed by these people, and they're wanting their kid or their program to be on our show. So that's really what I'm digging right now, fellas. And I'd welcome any of you guys to come with me, man. Ask Midnight Rider, where I roll, big guy, front row, down low, right?
Yeah, we always got the best seats in the house, baby. Always. Like I never forget. We went to the PG versus Southern Maryland
Chick-fil-A All-Star game, yeah.
And I'm sitting on the sideline. I'm on the side in the bleachers, and Jack looking at me like, "Come on." I'm like, "Jack, where are we going?"
Get down here.
Just come on down here. Just come down here. And the next thing I know, we on both sidelines, talking to kids and doing stuff. And I was like, "Yo, Jack has this one unique quality of not caring. So
No. My daddy always said, act like you've been there before. So, don't be all timid looking over your shoulder, man. Get up on that field. And what we do,
yeah.
At the end of the quarter, we crossed right across midfield and went to the other side.
Yes, sir.
I mean,
if you guys ever get the chance to hang out with Jack, just know it's gonna be a good time, and B, you're probably gonna break some rules. But he won't care until the people come and tell us we broke the rules. So that's the beauty of being with Jack. I'm gonna share a story because this is appropriate for us what we're doing today. The first time I met Jack in person, and this is the funny thing about this network, is a lot of us haven't met in person. I know LIX, of course, for many years because him and Tim Watkins, that relationship. I've never met Keith. I've never met Flying Brian. I met KG when we went to go sign our contract with the other network that we were going to be entangled with. But me and Jack, I told him that I was going to my barber. At that time, my barber, when I cared about cutting my hair, now we just baldy slim. But before that, it was getting it cut low. And I'll never forget, I was in Annapolis Mall, and Jack was like, "Oh yeah, I'll come to Annapolis Mall." And I never forget watching and looking, and I was like, "Yo, this white dude is crazy." Like, he just comes walking in the middle of the barbershop, and I'm like, "All right." And then he comes and daps me up, and I was like, "Oh, this has got to be Jack. This has got to be Jack." So we dap up, we talk in the barbershop, and then we go to whatever the little bar is.
Miller's
in the parking lot.
House. Yeah.
And we're sitting in the bar. And guys, when I tell you this dude is selling sideline junkies to anybody and everybody, like, he sees a girl with the Celtics jersey on, and the next 20 minutes he's over there talking to her, talking about the Celtics, because he's a Celtics fan, unfortunately for him. And they're just exchanging stuff, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm on this podcast, Sideline Junkies, blah 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 blah," and I'm dying laughing at the bar because it's nonstop, constant Jack, and it's only the way that Jack Carr can be Jack Carr. Like, there is a thing that is Jack Carr. So I don't know if you guys, I know Brian and Leroy, you've experienced it full fledged, and you know.
Yeah. I've known Jack since I was a baby. So yes,
And you know what? When it comes to podcasts, we might have the best duck pin bowling podcast in America.
Oh yeah.
Jack, hey Jack, we might want to go to some of these duck pin leagues, man, and go out there.
Yeah, no, I thought about even getting Rod on my show. Rod is duck pin knowledge for years and years. Yeah. I thought about getting Mr. Rod Weaver, but I tell you, some things that are a little bit off the cusp that I've been thinking about: duck pin bowling, going to a pool league like billiards, go to a pool hall and watch pool league, because it's competition, it's sports, And yeah, that's a good idea, Lee. And we can throw an all-star team together there too.
Mm-hmm.
Only on the Sideline Junkies can you tune in for a Super Bowl show, and we talk about duck pin bowling. You won't find it anywhere else, and that's why you come to this network, because you're going to get all the sports,
everything. But yeah, me and Lee Ice, we met in youth league, I believe it was, probably about 16 years old. It was me,
like that. Yeah, man.
Me and Cliff and RC, and there was a couple girls. I can't remember their names. It was real good. But you were younger. You was like just coming in when I was leaving youth league.
Right. Yeah. Good old youth league.
You was more like with Joe Constanza and Christy and them, right?
Yeah, Christy Durbin.
Yeah.
Like the stands there. Mm-hmm.
Yep. So yeah.
All right. Before we get too far in the weeds of the duck pen, let's talk about the gambling golfer over here, the correspondent. Fresh off his appearance on Highly Opinionated, I want to talk to you about that. How was that experience? You got some guys that I know for a fact are huge fans of yours. You did Highly Opinionated. How did that go? You and Josh Walker talking.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great interview. I didn't know what to expect. I mean, I had watched a few episodes. You know, I've watched, I don't know, last 6 or 8 episodes. Those guys really know what they're doing. I love the production value of their content and the flow of their interview segments. They really kind of broke down my golf career, if you want to call it that, you know, from the ground up, all the way up to, you know, what I'm doing now. What's that?
I said, "You's a hustler, baby."
Yeah, a lot of gambling.
Golf hustler.
So no, those guys do a great job over there. I just watched their episode this week that dropped earlier this morning. So those boys are doing good things. So yeah, when you get a chance, if you haven't already, or if you're not already subscribed to the Highly Opinionated podcast, please check it out. The boys are doing good work over there.
Yeah,
Right,
I
so
watched the interview with them, Keith. Yeah, that was great, man.
Good.
And
I'm glad
I
you
know
liked it.
Josh probably told you, but when he said he's a fan of yours, Josh is a fan of yours. Trust me on that.
Yeah. Ain't no fake.
Yeah.
Josh for real.
I'm a fan of his as well. Him and I have been chatting on the side. So I'm really a fan of his work as well. So the door swings both ways for sure. He's got a bright future.
No, so what Lee Ice, what Keith doesn't know is I tried to tell Keith, like Keith got an invitation from Highly Opinionated, and he thought it was like he didn't know if it was real or what. I was like, Keith, trust me, this dude really likes your work. Like he's gonna make sure he gets you to be on the show. And I was so proud, proud papa moment almost. You know how it goes, Lee Ice. When we see somebody that we have in the family getting the flowers that he deserves, this is one of those moments. Like I watched Keith, and Keith doesn't even know. Like we brought him in for golf, and then when we had him on, that car can tell you. I was like, yo, this kid can't go nowhere else. Like we're not gonna be the Redskins. We're not gonna let Sean McVay and all those people get out of the building. We're gonna hold this dude in here in this family and keep him close. Am I right, Jack?
Yeah, no, you're 100%.
Yeah, we was like, yo, this dude is the whatever it is, whatever golf we need, and now we know he's gonna do NASCAR, and we're gonna get that going.
World Cup,
yeah. World Cup, whatever
definitely.
you want to do, I got you, dog. I'll be your
Right,
co-host because I don't do any shows on the network, so I can be your co-host.
That's true. That's a good point. You need some more. That's a good point.
More.
You need other shows to do, man. I right.
Yeah, because I don't only do what I do, like a show a week, maybe.
Shit.
Once every 2 weeks, right? I don't never see you on
Yo,
here.
the funny thing was last night I was in my house and I was like, yo, no, not last night. It was Friday. Friday night, I was like, damn, I don't have a podcast to do. I don't know what to do with myself. So
He didn't know what to do. He's sitting in the corner scratching, don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, on screen, the boss B. And let me give him some love because he's been giving his intern, Miss Jackie.
Clap it up, y'all. Clap it up. Give it to him. Get that man his flower.
The boss has taken a step back a little bit off the on screen, but he's done big things in terms of just promoting the network and making the network shine. Boss B, welcome in. Talk to me. How you feeling? What's going on today? I know you and Flying Brian, because you're Buffalo fans, the Super Bowl is like a cuss word to you guys.
It's a little heavier than a cuss word. Good morning, gentlemen. How y'all doing, man?
Good.
Hey.
Hey, look,
Doing
look, the Super Bowl is especially with the damn Patriots in it. Oh my God, man, it's hard to sit there. Like, look, it's one of them things. Only a Buffalo Bills fan can understand. No other franchise, I don't think, in any sports league in the world could understand what the Bills fans go through. Okay, so we'll just leave that at that. But I'm feeling good. It's really great to see everybody pop on here, all the faces, and it's humbling because this where we started at, this wasn't it. I'm telling you, where we started at, with nobody listening and just doing it. I mean, we're still doing it because we enjoy it, but to see where we are now with it and growing, and we got the 24/7 channel now that runs on YouTube and X and wherever I can put it, that runs our reruns of our shows for the previous week. The sky's the limit, man. The sky's the limit. I've been fortunate enough. I haven't met Flying Brian. I haven't met LIX in person. I met Keith a couple months ago at Top Golf. That was a great experience. He welcomed me in. It was like walking into a family picnic, man. We had a blast there. Of course, Midnight Rider, Jack, I've met them, and it's all love, man. Everybody in the network is we all looking for that we all trying to strive for that one goal, and is to be the best. And LIX, Flying Brian, I know where y'all came from. I'm watching Unapologetic Sports, man. I love that show. I'm like, when I watch that show on Tuesdays at 6:30, I'm like, how did we get these guys over here? What happened? Like, and I'm not mad at it. I love it. All the shows. Jack in the passenger seat. I call it the best interview show in podcast land. Wednesday, 8 p.m. Jack doing his thing. Of course, my man to this side. What is it? It's been 30 years? You gotta unmute yourself.
30 going on 31.
31 years. 31 years. So we run deep in the wells. So just to see this all come together, Midnight Rider, the man that only does like 1 or 2 shows a week, the part-time guy on the network.
Right. Can't get him.
You know what I'm saying? I'm starting to question his work ethic a little bit. Just a little bit. Question his commitment to the network. You know what I'm saying? But all seriousness, man, I appreciate all of y'all. I know I'm not on as much, but trying to cook things in the background and cooking things in the background. I keep running out of ingredients and have to keep going to the store. So that's that. But
cool. Thank you.
Super Bowl extravaganza. I'm here for it.
All right, guys. One thing I'm gonna need y'all to be is pliable in this situation, because we may have some people jump in that aren't expected. So what we're gonna do is just
cut me out.
Oh my!
Cut me out.
We got some fire in the waiting room.
With that being said, KG, add the guest to the stage.
We got some fire.
Well, we got 2 of them.
One of them got to wait a little longer.
Well, we got Coach Jeff Ricker,
of course, and I know I still owe him a cheesesteak. But who's the other guest?
We also have none other than radio host extraordinaire Chris Russell.
Wow.
Oh man.
What up, fellas?
What's up? The man,
What's up, man? Thanks for joining us.
What's going on?
Chris, hold on. Because KG doesn't introduce people the right way. So I'll introduce you the right way.
I'm starstruck. Leave me be.
Yeah.
Hold on. It's the man, the myth, the legend. It's the man that people want to be and ladies love to be with. He's Mr. Steal Your Girl. It's the gentleman of all gentlemen. It is the king of kings. It is Mr. Chris Russell from 980 Sports, and he's on your radio starting at 1:00, no matter what JP Finley says about his show. So with that being said, Mr. Russell, welcome to our dungeon that is the Sideline Junkies Podcast Network.
Wow.
And
What's up?
little show
What's up,
called-
guys? Happy Super Bowl Sunday. Thanks for the nice
Yes, sir.
intro. How are y'all?
Good,
Good
man.
now,
What's going on,
Chris.
man?
How you been, buddy?
Good to see all you guys.
Yo,
Like what?
we've come a long way, brother. That day at, I think it was, what was that store? You did a studio, a live. We did Wendy's in Arlington.
Yeah.
And then we did the one before that because that's when you were in Woodbridge. for something.
Yeah, that was at Lowe's or something.
Yes,
I think.
that was at Lowe's.
Yeah.
So the Midnight Rider, Chris Russell story starts at Lowe's.
Yeah,
And-
that was a long time ago, but I remember it. I remember meeting you. Yep, absolutely. So, yeah, we don't do as many of those as I would like to. Certainly, the radio business is not exactly fun to anybody, or certainly not to me. I mean, it's fun, but it's not fun, and it's not kind in terms of the extra money. But we do what we do. So
Chris, for those that don't know you, like, give them a little bit of your history as a radio personality and how you became Chris Russell, even though we know you were Chris Russo in
Right.
the beginning.
Right, yeah, that's the old real name, but somebody that barks a lot on the radio and on First Take on ESPN stole it from me and stole a lot of other things. No, I'm just teasing. Chris Mad Dog Russo and I worked together for a while. I should have changed my name back then, but I didn't. I wanted to keep my identity, whatever. And you guys know when you change your identity, right? It's not always smooth sailing. So I don't know, back in 2001, my identity was changed for me from Chris Russo, real name, to Chris Russell at Sporting News Radio, which was headquartered in Chicago and broadcast nationally, owned by Paul Allen, the late owner of the Seattle Seahawks. My boss didn't have any sense of appreciation for my personality and my heritage, being half Italian and whatever. So he said, well, I'm going to name you as generic as I possibly can, Chris Russell. Okay. So we got Russellmania took off after that. Some people said, well, you're a big wrestling fan, so Russellmania. And then when I got back here, or when I got here to Washington, D.C., it was Chad Dukes, of all people, that discovered that they used to call me the Rooster.
Mm-hmm.
In the early stages of my career when I was using Chris Russo. And I don't know, that just took off and became like a thing that I guess kind of been known for over the last 9 or 10 years. So yeah, here I am.
Oh, hold on. You can't cheat your two best nicknames. Your two best nicknames is Big Sexy. and then from AMAC, your current guy is Mr. Steal Your Girl.
Yeah, well, I don't know where he created that one from. I have no idea because I ain't stealing anybody's girl. Number one, I'm very happy in that side of my life, and I'm good. So Big Sexy. Well, let's just put it this way: I'm not a small guy. I used to be bigger. So I think it was Holden Kushner and Fred Smoot that came up with that. Holden Kushner used to do back when 106.7 first went all sports, he used to do some shows. And for what, he was a jokester and he just named me that and it kind of took off. And I'll share with you guys this. There were times like Jason Reed, who used to write, of course, for the Washington Post. He would be like, back in the days, the Redskins locker room was much smaller and much more dank than it is now. So I would walk into the locker room just trying to do my job, and he would be like, Big Sexy, and a bunch of players would always turn around. And I don't know if they were thinking that he was calling them big sexy or if they were trying to find out who he was calling big sexy. And then they were disappointed, maybe. I don't know, when he was actually referring to me, but he would always make a big show out of it. So to some players, I became big sexy.
All right, so we got you here because this is the granddaddy of them all. So if we can, I know the public got to know your pick for the Super Bowl, but what do you have for the Super Bowl?
I mean, I think the Seahawks win, barring a complete collapse by Sam Darnold, 3-4 turnovers kind of thing. And maybe that's not just Sam Darnold. Maybe that's Sam Darnold and a fumble by Kenneth Walker or some, Cooper Kupp or Jackson Smith and Jigba or whoever. But I do think the Seahawks are the better team in probably all three phases. And I do think if they, again, don't shoot themselves in the foot and the Patriots have a +2 turnover ratio, I think they win. I don't want to say comfortably, but I have them covering the number at 4.5. I think it'll be, probably between a 4 and a 7 point game. Maybe it's a backdoor cover. I don't know, by the Patriots, or maybe it's a backdoor, like get you close, to 6-7 points by the Patriots late, and Seattle hangs on that way. But so I went with the Seahawks -4.5 is my official pick. And I don't think I'm stepping out of bounds. One thing I would say that I think, and I did this on Friday, I don't know if you guys agree, I think Drake May can throw on this secondary if they give him time, and that's a big if, because that's been a problem, especially on the edge, especially at left tackle with Will Campbell, the number 4 overall pick. But don't forget, old Morgan Moses is on the right side, right? If they can give him time, Drake May and Josh McDaniels, they love to go stretch. Even with Stephon Diggs not being as explosive as he used to be, they love to stretch teams out. And I think they can get to what's his name? 27, the corner.
Rick Woolen?
Yeah, Rick Woolen, who's a free agent, by the way, and who's 6'3" and 6'4" and all that, and who started out house on fire and has not been as good the last couple of years. I think they can get to Rick Woolen and maybe even take advantage of Emin Mori's injury. I know he's off the injury report, but I'm sure he's not 100%. And I wouldn't be surprised if Josh McDaniels and Drake May take a deep shot, deep post, deep go route, or what have you, either on the first play of the game or in the first series.
Chris, if you don't mind, I got a group of gentlemen that I know you're humble, and you don't know you're the business and the bee's knees and one of the greats in the radio industry. But I got some guys that want to ask you some questions. So if you don't mind giving me like 10 or 15 minutes, Jeff, I see you, and I apologize. I didn't know that I was going to get one of the greats in radio history to talk to me today.
I don't know about that, but I mean, work in whatever you got to work in. So I'm good.
We're going to work you in. That's what we're going to do. So we're going to go across the spectrum. So what I want to do is go Jack, Brian, Lee Ice, correspondent, and then KG, because so we go KG, correspondent, Lee Ice, Brian, and then Jack at the end. So KG, have fun.
All right. Well, first of all, you don't understand the what it means for you to be here, Chris. I'm gonna be quick about it, but I'm gonna tell you a story. When we started all of this back in July 2017, our model was based on 980 because we grew up, well, I ain't gonna say grew up. Our early adult years were spent listening to Kornheiser at 10, coaching. Kevin Sheehan and Doc Walker at 12, Coach at 2, and the sports reporters at 4. You know, that was our day. My work schedule was predicated around that. And then when you came in with updates, and when you got your own show, when you went to 106.7, I was pissed. But that was the only reason why I listened to 106.7, because you were on there.
I appreciate
you, Coach Thompson, B. Mitch, Doc Walker, Kevin Sheehan, Al Galdi, everybody in that 980 staff, Chuck, everybody. You were the basis. You guys were the basis and the foundation that we tried to stand on, because we wanted to do the good things that you did, because that's what made us feel good, to listen to radio all day long. You know, being out in the field as a utility locator, I had the radio on full blast listening to you guys. So you sitting here right now is almost like a full circle moment.
Yeah, that's really nice. That's really nice of you to say, KJ. I appreciate that. You know, we had a great staff. I mean, you know, unfortunately, you know, Coach left us too early, and you know, there were different iterations, right? I mean, Al Koken was part of that staff, and with Coach and Doc, you know, Tommy Lavero with Kevin, and you know, so many different versions, and unfortunately, some things got sideways in the business. But you know, there was some. I appreciate it, but you know, like the 5 years that I spent. Let me see. I joined 980 the first time right before Mike Shanahan's first training camp. And that was a year after we relaunched 106.7 into an all sports station. And I did the beat for them, which I don't know why they put me on the beat, but they said they didn't have anybody else that they could trust. So I had to kind of knock down a lot of walls, because I had never really done a beat job. And I didn't know anybody in the Redskins organization outside of just what you knew from TV. So, you know, all I did was try and work as hard as I could, and break as many stories as I could, which I was lucky enough to do a bunch. And, you know, somehow, some way, I gained the respect of enough people that 980, which was then owned by Dan and Red Zebra, you know, hired me a year into that. And right before Mike Shanahan's first training camp. And so then I did the full 4 years with Mike and his great coaching staff, and, you know, inside the building every day, and on the plane, and in the hotel, and in the coffee room, and, you know, in the workout room, and all that stuff. So I had some pretty good access, you know, and developed a lot of relationships that way. And, you know, and then when they decided to make changes in management, they wanted to go a different way, and that was fine. So I went right back to 106.7 because, you know, that was, I thought, what, like, if they were willing to have me back, that, you know, A, there weren't many other choices. B, I wanted to make them right, you know, and so that was cool. And, you know, I got to cover, you know, the Stanley Cup and all that stuff, and do more shows, which I wanted to do more shows, less reporting. And then when they bought 980, it was like, okay, you know, I can kind of go home again and kind of split my time a little bit between both stations. And then it led to me getting an everyday show with Pete Medhurst, the late, great Pete Medhurst. And, you know, that's kind of like where we are now. We bounced around a little bit, but, you know, with Pete, unfortunately, you know, passing away, you know, I've been solo for a while, you know, back at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and, you know, but it's still cool. I mean, I get to see Doc pretty much every day. And, you know, Kevin is not in the studio, but he's on right before me. So it kind of feels like some of the old 980. But I appreciate, you know, the great words and kind sentiment.
Correspondent.
I had to let that go. I couldn't let you leave out of here without letting you know that, man. And it's kind of hard to do it on social media, but to let you know that in person. That
I appreciate it.
You are part of the reason that we sit here now. So
I appreciate it. I mean, it's cool to hear that, you know, like, I mean it, you know, a lot of people are not so nice, and a lot of people are really nice. And, you know, I mean, I've known Ben probably the most, and like, he's more my direct connection, you know, but you guys are all cool, and that's really nice to hear. And it's, you know, like, look, I don't ask for anybody to do anything or say anything nice or whatever, you know. I mean, I hope people respect what I've done, you know, and I mean, that's all I can do. I've tried. Ain't perfect. Not saying that I'm always the most likable person in the world, but I try. So I appreciate it.
KG,
Chris,
drop your
thanks
question,
for,
and then
yeah,
let's
I'll
answer
go
on
next.
the marmlet.
Chris, thanks for taking the time. Really kind of starstruck having you on. So really, really appreciate it. Always loved your sort of lunch pail approach that you brought to your broadcasting career. Really had a lot of respect for that. Have you ever thought about, or have you done in the past any play-by-play? It's something I think you'd be really, really good at with your voice and your approach to broadcasting.
I mean, first of all, I appreciate that. Secondly, it's a great question, and I've been asked it probably by, I don't know, 50 times, but not really on air that I can remember. Maybe once or twice, but and people have said like in my interpersonal circle have said I sound like, or at least at one point sound like Bob Wischusen. If you guys know who that is, right? The ESPN broadcaster and Jets play-by-play guy. I have never, ever, 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 ever considered play-by-play. I don't think I'm as eloquent with words and grammar and smooth as I need to be to do play-by-play. Play-by-play is a weird beast, man. I wouldn't want to do a disservice to anybody that does it really well. And there are so many, and we're so lucky here in Washington with, Charlie and Dave and, forever Frank Herzog. And I know Larry takes his the criticism, but Larry did it. I thought, and maybe I'm biased because I worked for him, but Larry, I thought, did a good job. It was just in tough circumstances. John Walton and Joe Beninati. I mean, those guys are unbelievable. I wouldn't want to do a disservice to them. So I've always been more the analyst and an observer type, and I think that's where I'm best.
I think you'd be good at that too. Last question for me. With what's happened with the sports page over at the Washington Post, any thoughts on that and how you feel the impact there will affect sports and how we approach it as far as broadcasting is concerned and journalism in our community? I mean,
as I said the other day, look, I hope, and I hope this doesn't come off as callous. I hated all those people losing their jobs. Mm-hmm. I hope that 980 and 106.7 can help fill some sort of void that people and fans are feeling and give an option that maybe they hadn't considered or maybe they didn't use as much. So I hope that, but I hate that it came at the expense of, many colleagues and friends and whatnot. I mean, I still can't believe it's kind of real. We just started hearing about this 2 weeks ago, and then it was like, wait, are they really going to do this? And then boom, they do it. And then the editor-in-chief resigns yesterday. And I don't know about you guys. It feels like a freaking hit and run, right? I mean, it feels like it feels like you were racing at 100 miles an hour in your Ferrari, and you ran into a bunch of people and knocked them off, and then just decided to speed off and not care about anything. So that part is disappointing. I'm not. I would say this, like, I know some of us wanted, before Josh seriously got involved, Jeff Bezos to be the owner of the, then the football team, what turned out to be the Commanders and all that stuff. I mean, with the way they're kind of running the Post, I'm really glad that, that he didn't get involved, that he chose not to get involved, because as you guys know, sports, and whether it's the Post sports section, whether it's radio, whether it's the Washington by whatever names, it's got to be a little bit of a passion and labor of love. It can't just be about every nickel and dime. And I'm not saying that it was. They've obviously lost a lot of money, but like, why you couldn't figure anything out? You couldn't figure out a way to reduce, okay, we're not going to be able to travel, but we're going to see if that works, and we're still going to provide comprehensive coverage.
Hey,
maybe
not, before you go, Lee Ice, I want to do one thing. I want to give Chris the opportunity to. I know all you guys have questions, and I want to skip your questions. But what I want from Chris is a Sonny Jurgensen moment, because he's had the ability to be intertwined with Sonny. And Jeff, I see. I apologize right now, but let's talk to Chris about his Sonny Jurgensen time and maybe his stories, and let him embellish and wax poetically about what it is to been that close to a legend that is Sonny Jurgensen.
Whew. Yeah. That hit all of us hard, in many different ways on Friday when we found out. And I haven't talked to Sonny as much lately. I mean, I would text him occasionally, every now and then he would return it, but as he got later in life, he was less on his phone, and and I understood that, so I would occasionally send a little, note to his son, Gunnar, who I got to know. All I can say is probably everything you guys have heard about Sonny is so true. I mean, like, nobody's making stuff up about what kind of great gentleman, and I know Gentleman Jack, not stealing that term from you, but Sonny was really that. I mean, I remember being in awe the first time I met him, and thinking, oh man, you better not screw this up. That's Sonny Jurgensen and Sam Huff, this is, you better not screw this opportunity up, man. You better not say the wrong thing. You better not do the wrong thing. You better not act like an ass, anything like that. That's Sonny and Sam, and I know it wasn't Frank and everybody, I get the place and all that stuff, but it was still Sonny and Sam, and Doc was very much part of the broadcast as well. And, Sheehan and Galdi and Brian Mitchell, and, somehow I found my way into the booth, and it was just all inspiring. Like every Sunday morning, walking into the booth and seeing Sonny Jurgensen, and hey, Sonny, how you doing? Hey, Chris, how you doing? Did you have a good week? Every Friday he would walk into Redskins Park to do an interview or a meeting or something like that, and he'd wave, newspaper, Washington Post. If you don't get it, you don't get it. That was his thing, and Sonny always got it in so many different ways. Every day after a game, on the road, I should say. You walk up the steps of the charter bus to get to the airport from the stadium, and there Sonny is, first row. Mm-hmm. And, like, he'll look at you and, he'll be like, tough day, like, we got to get him next week, that kind of thing. Like, he never had anything really super critical to say about anybody. He was so kind and so nice to people that he didn't probably have to be. And it was genuine, guys. It was genuine. It wasn't like for show. It wasn't just because, somebody told him to. He was genuine. And I'll always remember Sonny for that. I'll always remember the first broadcast. I was telling the story, I think, the other day on the radio. It was preseason game number 1, and I'm on the sidelines, and they go down to me, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm not sure what to say, but I had been paying attention to like one particular thing, and I was probably doing more analysis than reporting. And I did, a breakdown of what the then Redskins were running on third downs. And, they were running 11 personnel with 3 wide receivers each time, and, whatever. And I was like, I wonder if Sonny and Sam were laughing at me up in the booth, and I was like, back to Larry, back to Sonny, Sam, whatever. And, and they were so cool about it. They were good to me. They treated me well. I loved getting an occasional meal on the road with them or a cup of coffee. I remember just, if I can keep going real quickly, a weekend in Seattle right after Thanksgiving in 2011, having some extra time on a Saturday morning with them in the hotel, which was buzzing, and just sitting there with Sonny and Sam. And, wow. Just shooting the, and then a couple of times, and there weren't many wins, as we all know, outside of 2012, when I would get out of the locker room, one of the things that I would try and do, especially after a win, was go outside of our booth, and there Sonny would be, and Doc, and Larry usually, and some other team officials, occasionally Dan, and they'd be smoking a victory cigar, and I'd light up an SJ9 that I was given, and which was his brand cigar from Old Virginia Tobacco, and I'd have a cocktail with Sonny Jurgensen, and Sam I don't think was really a part of that, but Sonny and Doc and various other team officials. So it was just cool to be kind of in that circle, and I appreciate it, and I was terribly sad on Friday. I'm still sad, as I know we all are, right? We'll miss him. But the way I choose, the legacy he gave us is so great that even though we're going to miss him forever, the legacy that he gave us and the kindness that he gave us is so much more important than us missing him, and being sad, right? We were blessed. We were lucky to be given number 9. We were lucky. So.
Hey Chris, I gotta take a quick break. I know you don't like breaks, from the way you do your show. When we come back from the break, I got Lee Ice, Gentleman Jack, and Flying Brian willing to ask you some questions. So it's a short break. You don't have to go to the bathroom on this break. Trust me. Gentlemen, welcome back from the break. This is the Sideline Junkies Podcast Network. It's the Sunday Rise. It is Flying Brian, the Gentleman Jack, the Midnight Rider, Lee Ice, the correspondent, the big guy KG, Jeff Ricker sitting in the shadows. Jeff, we're not forgetting about you, buddy. And then we got the man with the plan, the myth, the legend, the person that makes sports talk radio what it is, the legacy maker. He's not the legacy killer. He's the legacy maker. He is Chris Russell, hanging in with us. And to start this segment, let me get Lee Ice, because he is a very fan person, opinionated. He's highly opinionated, but he's unapologetic when it comes to his opinions about the man, the myth, the legend, Chris Russell. Talk to me, Lee Ice.
Let's go. Lee's gonna kill me, isn't he?
Yeah, all of this. You got me, Ben. All I can say is wow. Because I never seen this coming in a million years, and I hope you don't take this as being negative, and I know you won't. And it's funny because Ben has always said that you and Chris are alike. And I'm like, I don't see it, but I'm about to pay you the ultimate compliment, brother. Okay. And it's mostly out of respect and love. No, it's definitely out of respect and love. Sometimes you get on my nerves so much. and Ben would tell you, because I would text him, I was like, what the hell is this guy talking about? But like I said, it's out of love and respect. You get on my nerves so much that I listen to you every single day.
I appreciate that, and I apologize. For
getting on your nerves.
I get on my nerves every day too, right?
And it's crazy because I'm like, man, I want to call this guy and say something to him.
Yeah.
And to have this moment right now. Like I said, it's out of love and respect.
I appreciate
it.
But know that I drive my.
Why he probably said that we're the same, because you don't apologize for how you are. My favorite part of your show is when it comes on and you say, "I don't mean to be be a jerk.
I love it. I love it. Thank you. And I'm sorry if I'm annoying. At times I am. I mean, I annoy myself. I drive people crazy in my inner circle, right? I mean, I'm complicated. I'll admit that to anybody. But one thing, on a serious note, like you guys are way too kind. You guys don't have to be this kind, so I appreciate it. But thank you for listening, number one, and thank you for caring. And I'll always say this. I mean, I can't say 100% of the time the show is what a Redskins fan or a Commanders fan wants to hear, but it's authentic and it's real and nothing is scripted, and it's just like. And I found like a way of I don't know if anybody notices, but like my first run at 980, I was real serious and intense, and I couldn't joke around and whatever. Going back to 106.7 The Fan in 2015 and working with Chad Dukes and working with JP Finley and B Mitch and the Junkies again, those guys really loosened me up. And maybe it was time, and maybe it was just less pressure, and maybe it was just happiness in my personal life or whatever. But I started to become a lot more of a funny guy, I guess, and sarcastic and kind of like I bust chops and whatever. And I like that as opposed to being like this fire and brimstone style. I can still get that way, but I kind of keep it in reserve,
Jack,
what were you saying?
How do you deal with people like Paulie and Sabah? Because y'all really get, man.
They're the best. I mean, like that's part of I guess what I'm the change that I'm talking about. Like earlier in my career, a guy like Paulie who doesn't like a lot of things that I say, and half the time I'm convinced he does it for the show, and half the time I'm convinced that it's real. Like he would piss me off, right? And I'd probably be like, screw you, and sometimes I still say that. But it's all out of love, right? Like he'll text me, he'll be like, I'm really going to piss you off today. Or, he'll text me after the show, like, I got you, like whatever. And, the one thing that I would say is I take my job seriously, but I don't take myself too seriously anymore. I have to make a stand, right? And I have to have opinions, and I have to, and I feel certain ways about certain things. I'm not saying that I don't, but I don't, I guess I used to think what I thought was the end all be all and that I knew everything. And I haven't thought that way in a while. So I hope that comes through on the radio. Sometimes it's not, sometimes I'm sure it does. But I hope consistently people realize that, hey man, I have my feelings, I have my opinions, I have my thoughts. It may not be what you want to hear, but it's authentic, number one. And number two, I'm not above anybody. And I just, I kind of like, hey man, you have ways to disagree with me and call in the show and hear me or tell me off, as long as you do it in a sort of respectful manner. We have opportunities to go back and forth and to disagree.
Flying Brian.
Sure.
How you doing, Chris? Thanks for joining us. I never thought I'd hear somebody drop Chad Dukes on the show that I was on if I wasn't dropping it. As a big Owen Dukes fan and a Horde member. I have a million questions about that.
I see all the Buffalo Bills gear back there. I went to school in Buffalo, so I'll always have an affinity for Buffalo. So that's another thing we got in common.
Yeah, so I live in near Baltimore. I'm local. I've heard you on the radio all the time. I would have a million questions about Chad Dukes, but that's not the platform for this. But you being a big wrestling fan and wrestling being a huge part of this network, just mind if you don't give your quick thoughts on the state of wrestling right now with WrestleMania coming. Yeah, there you go. I was at that one too.
Yep. At Lincoln Financial Field, 2 of the coldest nights that I have had in a football stadium. Where for WrestleMania in early April, it was freezing. If you remember that, Brian.
Oh yeah, and I'm sure you weren't sitting as high as I was in the stands. We were at the very, very top, so it was a little more colder for me probably than it was for you.
I had pretty good seats. That I was.
Bet you did.
So I'll tell that part of the story real quickly. That the first night of WrestleMania in Philly, it probably was like no more than 40-ish degrees during the day. So I knew it was going to be cold that night. Of course, you're outside. And I had really good seats from WWE. A good friend of mine, Lenny the Legend, as I call him, and as wrestlers call him, has done a lot of business, let's just say, with WWE and has gotten to know a lot of the wrestlers on a personal basis. So he was able to get us tickets 10 rows up in the family section at Lincoln Financial Field for the first night of WrestleMania. And, we sat with like Rey Mysterio's family and a couple of other families and whatnot. So yeah, it was still pretty damn cold. Maybe not as cold as up top in a stadium, but that was cool. And that was the last WrestleMania I was at. The next night I didn't have as good as seats, but I had pretty good seats still, so I'm not complaining. It was cool to see Cody Rhodes win and and have that moment. The state of wrestling. So I enjoy it. I think what I would say criticism wise is, much like with the NFL, I don't love the constant need to be international, but I get how, they all want to make money and tap into resources that are not untapped into, but are not tapped out. And so I get it. I don't like it, but I get it. I don't like WrestleMania being in Dubai next year or Saudi Arabia next year or Royal Rumble just recently. But I would say, and I think they do too much programming. Like I'm a big, I'm so thankful my show is only 3 hours instead of 4 hours. A, because it's less work. B, I think people would get way more annoyed if I was on for 4 hours instead of 3 hours. So, I think Raw on Monday night, 2.5 hours, SmackDown, 3 hours on Friday night?
Yeah.
Saturday night main event, seemingly every month and a half. PLEs every month, NXT. I think it's too much. I think it's oversaturated. I think it robs it of being special. That being said, if my job is to make money and to make as much money as I can, the only way I do that is by oversaturation, right? And if that's the marching orders that I'm given, well, then that's what I've got to do. So I kind of look at that as just, kind of a side swipe of the business and the industry because I do think it's too much. But like I'll say this, I'm a big football guy. I love baseball, love hockey. Basketball, I kind of take and leave. Kind of depends on how well it's played. If it's played well, I enjoy basketball. If it's not, it's kind of hard for me to watch, and it's a little bit too slow. But wrestling, I've always taken this approach. It's a fun release for me. And it was something that I didn't have to really break down and analyze and scrutinize. And I could just enjoy it and laugh. And then I got my former producer, Matty Ice, asked me to do a wrestling podcast last year. And we did it for about 7 or 8 months. And, I got to be honest with you guys. I enjoyed it, but it became a job again. And I didn't enjoy wrestling as much. And because I had to be taking notes and I had to be like looking for storylines and thinking ahead and instead of just letting it roll. So to me, I'm kind of like, hey man, I love wrestling because it's a sideshow for me. It's entertainment. It truly is. I don't want it to be like work where, like tonight's Super Bowl, I've got to like, okay, what storylines am I going to talk about tomorrow? And how am I going to shape my opinion? And was this call right? Or was this call wrong? Or why did they do this here? Or why did they do that here? And I can't really relax and enjoy. With wrestling, I like to relax and enjoy. Whenever I get a chance to watch it, which isn't as much as I would like, I like to just kind of chill out and just laugh a little bit and enjoy.
So,
Thanks.
so that's messed up that you bring up the wrestling show. I was supposed to be a guest on your wrestling show to pay you back for being in the passenger seat, but it's okay, Chris. That's how you want to do this. It's okay. But
that's why he canceled it. It was that week, wasn't it? Wasn't it that week?
I will say this. I will say this just to defend myself. How many times did you get an invite and you said no? I'm busy at that time.
Big
I
league,
can't.
Always busy.
Big League by the Midnight Rider.
Yeah.
I do shows 6 days a week.
Okay,
I mean,
but you can't say that you weren't invited.
okay,
Right.
I mean, we didn't execute it because of your elitism, but
You got him, Rooster. You got him.
you were invited, baby. You were invited. We'll do a special one on our own, okay?
All right, go ahead, Jack.
Maybe after WrestleMania.
Yeah,
Hey, what's up, Rooster? Hi. I like what you were just talking about when you were talking about, because I've recently been covering a lot of high school sports, and it really is tough to get the storylines and the notes and the stats when you're really a big fan of what's going on and you're taken in by what's happening. So I really understood what you were speaking of there. But we already done found out everything that Chris is doing, what he's up to, what he's thinking about, who he's pissing off. I want to know what Tyler's up to because, guys, his son Tyler, man, he got a Rolodex with everybody in it. My boy got NFL, NBA, NHL players texting him all the time. What's Tyler up to, Chris? How's he doing?
That's awesome, Jack. Thank you. I appreciate it. He's doing good. I mean, he's rooting, I think, for the Seahawks tonight. He kind of changes his opinion every now and then. It generally is based on what coach he knows. And I don't think he knows Mike Vrabel or whatever Tiffany Haddish called him, verbal. Mike Verbal. I don't think he knows Mike Verbal, and he calls Mike McDonald Mike McDaniel because he knows Mike McDaniel, now the former Dolphins head coach, and Chargers offensive coordinator. So I think he's a little confused on that, but he's doing good. Thank you. He'll be here in early April for a little spring break action. And maybe we'll get out to a baseball game while he's here, or the Caps, if they're still playing. I think they are, or the Wizards, one of those. And then he'll turn 25 in June. And I mean, the interesting thing, the weird thing, the cool thing, about having a child with special needs is, he's almost 25, and in some ways he acts like he's almost 25, but then, there's so many ways where I know he needs like the loving hand of his dad and sympathetic understanding and patience and all that stuff. And it's always like, I kind of equate it out to sometimes like a Rubik's Cube, right? Where like some people can do it, some people can't do it. And even if you can do it, you kind of struggle to figure it out, right? But eventually you get it. And that's how I kind of look at being his dad is, sometimes it's hard to figure out what's going to be that trigger button. But then there's a lot of cool times where him and I will just sit, arm in arm on the couch and just watch a football game or a baseball game or a basketball game or a hockey game, for 2 hours, 3 hours, whatever. And he's just happy as a pig and poop, So, I mean, sorry, I get all emotional when
I just like it that we were talking with you a few months back when you came on in the passenger seat and you stated how you could be hanging out with Tyler, and then all of a sudden he's sidetracked and ain't paying attention to you because he's talking with Logan Thomas or a national or a commander in text. It just blows my mind. Tyler,
he's got some friends that are really good to him. So I think he's driven some of them crazy, but he's had some guys that are really nice to him. Sam Cosme and
Tress Way, I think.
Tress. I think Tress has talked to him. Ron. Coach Ron Rivera when he was here. The center Nick Gates was really nice to him. I'm trying to think. No,
Chris. I'm not gonna allow you to be on my show and not give the person that is the biggest fan of your son his accolades and his AA MCO.
MCO. Yeah, Athen and Annapolis. You know what they talk about all the time on the phone? They talk about shaving Tyler's head into a mohawk. They talk about women, and they talk about farts and poops, and what they're eating and what they're and how lazy they're being. They have their own love language, and I largely stay out of it, but occasionally I'll get like a copy of a screen grab of their texts, and I mean it's something else. And Tyler's mom will occasionally tell me, she goes, I find them so funny. They're just talking about, they're talking in their own code and whatever. So yeah, I mean, I've been very lucky that people have been so kind to him and understanding and appreciative of him, and so many people ask about him, like you guys, and my colleagues, in like on the beat, in various beats have been, like if he'll call, which he does often, they'll spend a minute or two with him. Yeah, exactly. So
all right.
Hey,
so it's really cool.
Hey Jeff, I know you're in the screen, so unmute yourself.
Give him one.
I have a question for Chris while we're doing this, because it's not often that you get greatness to be bestowed on you on a Sunday morning during the Super Bowl show.
Oh no, hey guys, thanks for having me, Chris. It's really great to meet you. I don't listen to 106 often because I'm usually working, unfortunately, during that time. But just one.
Whoop, we lost you.
Oh.
He got so nervous.
Yeah,
he couldn't handle it.
So let's go this way. KG, I know you got more questions for Chris because you, in our conversations, you blushed about Chris Russell and the greatness that is Chris Russell. So talk to him again.
You guys making me blush too much. It's too kind.
I mean, you got to
get you to come back.
You got to realize, like, you guys were the big part of my day. Like my day didn't start until 7 a.m. and then that was the run up and listen to the radio. But I had to wait for Tony Kornheiser to come on at 10. Once that 10 o'clock hit, that's when it was time to get work done. And then I used to make it a point. And you may not remember this. I used to make it a point to call into every show. And when you were filling in for anybody on your show, I was calling in. B mentioned Scott Jackson had the S Talking Championship.
Yep.
5-time champion right here.
Attaboy. Attaboy.
You're not just a 5-time. You're the 5-time.
Five-time.
S Talk champion. But I got a question. This is a Super Bowl show because it's a little game going to be played. I really want to know your thoughts with Jackson Smith and Jigba. Do you think he has a chance? And I haven't even looked at the betting odds. Do you think he has a chance to actually be Super Bowl MVP?
Yes. Hell yeah. I can probably find the odds for you. First of all, I would say, right, to me, if there was one guy that I'm going to put not an anytime touchdown, but a 2 touchdown prop bet on, it would be Jackson Smith and Jigba, right? Because Darnold is obviously going to go after him and target him. They always find a way. You know how we sometimes complain that Terry doesn't get more than 4 or 5 targets in a game or whatever. I mean, they always seem to get Jackson Smith and Jigba right around 10 targets, sometimes more, maybe a little bit less, but it always seems like he's a big part of the game plan. And I don't know about you guys, but Carlton Davis, Patriots corner, he takes some penalties. So I think they're going to try and attack him. But also don't forget, early in the AFC Championship game, they went right after Christian Gonzalez, right? And they beat him for that long 52-yard play that got them inside the 5, maybe inside the 10. I can't remember exactly where. But it led to a score, a Denver score. And then the next play, they kind of suckered him in on a little play action, and he was kind of stuck in the middle and lost his man in deep coverage in the corner, right? So I think Seattle is going to have an opportunity to obviously take advantage there, especially with Njigba. And maybe it's Kupp and Rashid Shaheed to kind of like loosen them up a little bit underneath, crossing routes, stuff like that, to kind of like loosen them up, maybe bring an extra safety down, maybe get their eyes peeking a little bit, and then boom, you go after JSN that way. And just like that, I also think New England's going to have their opportunities, as we talked about earlier, to go against Reek Willen and Emamori, who, again, I understand he's off the injury report. That doesn't mean he's 100%, right? That doesn't mean that injury is not going to get banged up again once the game starts. So I think everybody that's saying, whoa, Drake May has been so terrible in these playoffs. Oh, Seattle's defense. Seattle, we all know they gave up a lot of points to Stafford and the Rams. Okay, that's one thing. But guys, I go back to week, I think 5 against Tampa Bay without Mike Evans, without who's their running back that I love, 4th round out of Oregon 2 years ago.
Bucky? Who you talking about?
Bucky Irvin. So no Bucky Irvin, no Mike Evans, and Tampa went in on the road and put up, I think it was 41 points or whatever it was in Seattle. 38 points, whatever it was. My point is, like, there have been times where you can move the football against the Seattle defense. Even Houston did it, right? The question is can you, if you're moving the football, can you execute 7 out of 8 times without that one time being a disaster? That's where Seattle wins, is if they don't give up big play explosives. And New England guys, even though they don't seemingly have the horses to be explosive, they are explosive in a lot of different ways, right? It may not always be over the top. It may be, an intermediate dig or whatever, and then Diggs or Mac Hollins or whoever might be able to break a tackle and turn something, not nothing, but something into a bigger something. Anyway, the point being is, I think both teams are going to be able to throw the ball tonight. I think there's going to be some pretty decent scoring. And I think the over-under I saw last at 40 or 40 and a half, or maybe it was 41. I can't remember exactly what it was. 40, 41, 43?
I'm not sure. I thought I saw
it at 40 and a half or 41. I would go over. As a matter of fact, I have gone over on a couple of bets. Because I don't think this is going to be like a 10-7 type game by any stretch of the imagination. Even with 2 good defenses, I think the offenses are going to be good enough in this game where you're going to see some explosiveness at times. Not the entire game. I don't think it's going to be 41-38. But
45 and a half is the over-under.
What is it, 45 and a half?
45 and a half. FanDuel, 45 and a half.
Oh, wow.
I thought it was closer to 44, yeah.
Yeah, I thought I read 41, but maybe I read the wrong number.
I'd take it at 40, but I don't think I'd take it at 45.
I mean, again, 45 is what?
Nickers.
20, 23,
21,
23, right?
21, 24, yeah.
I mean,
no, 21, 20, yeah, 21, 25.
Yeah. I mean, I think this game can be 27-24. I don't, or 30-27. I don't think it's going to be a 13-10 type game. I'd be very surprised if it's low scoring. And I think it's because both offenses can be explosive, and both offenses, I don't think New England is going to come out looking to establish and pound the run and beat their head into a wall against Seattle's front. I think they'll use the run to loosen up things at times, but I think they're going to take the opposite approach of get the ball out of Drake May's hands, yes, but also take their shots deep and intermediate to deep and try and stretch Seattle out that way.
Hey, Chris, if you don't mind, you can stick around. But I got to take a quick break, and then we got to come back on the other side and talk some more football, if that's okay with you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This is the Sideline Junkies Podcast Network. It is the Sunday Rise. It is Klein Brian. It's Lee Ice. It's the Gentleman Jack. It's the correspondent. It's the big guy KG. And then in the small square at the bottom of the screen, we got the man, the myth, the legend, the person that makes sports talk radio exist from 1 to whatever time it is. And then 1 to 4. And then he actually somehow ends up being found in the alley by Danny Rouillet and Grant Paulson, and he comes on this show for their hit at 4 p.m. So it is Chris Russell, the man, the myth, the legend. And first and foremost, Chris, I'm gonna tell you right now, friend to friend, person to person, the fact that you're giving us this much time, I appreciate it. And I don't know how much time you want to give us, but I would give you, like, we can talk all the way up to 6 p.m. for the game. But whatever you want to do, you tell me when you got to go. And I appreciate all that you're giving us.
No, I appreciate you guys.
I wasn't expecting this at all. You know, me and you, we rock, like, full flats on Cadillac, baby. We go back.
I appreciate you guys, and I appreciate you, Ben. And I will say this: I don't know if you guys know this, but under his alter ego, Fat Poet 10, yeah, he doesn't do it as much as he used to. But one of the secret sauces to his brilliance was always coming up with the different sub handles, and he would take something that we said that was funny or controversial or whatever, and he'd spin it into one of his sub handles, and it would just be so, like, again, subtle is the best way I could put it, because he wouldn't be like, oh, hey, look at me, check me out, see what I did here, ha ha ha. It would just be like there, and I'd be like, he did it again, he got me again. Yeah, I mean, very, very good sense of humor, and I enjoy, I enjoy all interactions, and
Hold on,
appreciate you guys.
Hold on, Chris. I'm waiting for my check, because I need the AMAC segment to be in my residuals, because I came up with that.
That is true. That is true.
I came up with the AMAC segment.
Well, what you should do is call in and remind us of that, right, on the air.
Okay.
This way we can make AMAC feel extra loyal, and I'll be able to spin it into, I don't know. I'll be able to spin it into something.
Okay, so hold on.
We'll have some fun with it.
Let's go. Mark and Largo. What are we doing?
The Mark and Largo show. That's the never-ending Mark and Largo show.
But Mark-a-Lago is good when he wants to be good. But then there's
He's-
time.
We've got some colorful characters. There is no doubt about that. So I wanted to ask you guys something, okay? And because I'm doing all the talking here, so because I'm curious on how you guys are thinking and operating. So they're going to introduce, officially, for whatever it's worth, David Blau and Durante Jones on Tuesday. We'll poke in and out of that press conference in the 1 o'clock hour, on the show. But are you guys, ultimately like excited or down on this? Is this desperate or is this smart and ingenuitive? Like, how do we kind of see all this?
Let's start with Lee Ice. Lee Ice, how do you feel?
I'm gonna be honest. I don't know how to feel. I was kind of hoping they would go out and get Mike McDaniel as their OC, but I'm gonna trust in Dan Quinn. I'm not surprised at the defensive hire because who the hell want to come in and coach what we have on defense? There's no talent. It's not a lot of talent there. But on the OC side, I guess because Jaden is used to this guy, and from what I hear, he has a lot of respect throughout the league. And like Ben said earlier, we don't want to make the mistake and let another Sean McVay get out. So Quinn's taking a chance. 2 unproven coordinators. I mean, that's a big chance, man.
All right. Flying Brian, you got anything for Chris?
We talk about Joe Brady and the Buffalo. Oh, you talk about the Commanders coaches. Oh,
well, wait a second, Brian.
Joe Brady.
No, Brian, give me something on Joe Brady, because I mean this guy, hotshot offensive coordinator at LSU, goes to Carolina, maybe a bad fit with what's his name, the Nebraska coach Matt Rule, gets fired there, kind of reinvents himself. Josh Allen, now he's the head coach in a first year of that new stadium. They're running out of time, like what is it, the sands through the hourglass, right? I mean, I know Bills Mafia was kind of split on McDermott, is what I gathered. I mean, I heard plenty of people.
They weren't really that split until they fired him.
Yeah,
everybody wanted his head until they actually did it. And
that's the thing that was weird. I agree with you on that. That's the sentiment that I got. And now that they did and obviously hired Brady, does that like make people think, oh, okay, they had a plan here to go to get the most out of the offense, which is our strong point?
Yeah. So Tuesdays at 6:30 Unapologetic Sports. Check me and Lee Ice out. We've talked about this in length, but so I'll put it this way: if you are a fan of another team and you had the opportunity to hire the head coach of the guy that was behind Josh Allen and his MVP season, who turned around Josh Allen's not career, but with turning down the interceptions and turnovers, and also this year came off of James Cook being the rushing leader, wouldn't you want that guy to be your head coach?
Mm-hmm.
So if you look at it from that point of view, then he's a good hire. But from the point of the reason McDermott was fired because we needed this big change, and then you just promote the offensive coordinator, that's where it's a little, for me personally, a little weird. But I have high hopes. I think he's going to do well with Josh Allen. But the most important thing is, I think, is the defense. The Bills' last 7 playoff losses, the defense have given up an average of 32.5 points a game. And the offense has averaged around 29 points, before and after Brady. So Josh Allen's going to score. He might turn the ball over a little bit also, but Josh Allen's going to score. So if Brady brings in the right guys, and I think the guy that he brought in from Denver, I think is a good hire. So I think it's going to be I like it. As far as the Commanders go, I defer to Lee Ice more about that, but I think it's good to hire who they brought in. Maybe didn't want to make a big splash name. I know McDaniel was a name that a lot of people wanted to hear. Me personally, I didn't think so. I got to see McDaniel hands-on what he did for Miami, and he did all right, but I think they're making the right calls. I don't think the fan base was too happy about Dan Quinn, and look how that turned out the first season. So, yeah, I think it's good. I think sometimes you don't need the big splash. I personally wanted Kubiak for Buffalo. I think he's going to do well with the Raiders, if with the situation they got there. But as far as the Commanders go, yeah, I think it's high hopes, and looking JD5 can get rolling again. It makes for a better show for us if the Commanders are good. So.
KG, what do you got? Oh, Jack.
No, go ahead, Chris.
You can pull KG. Go ahead.
Well, no, my the way I feel about it, I thought we would go after Brian Dable for what Brian Dable did with Josh Allen running quarterback, and I was like, we're gonna go after Brian Dable, and I'm like Lee Ice, I'm on the fence. I got to see what's gonna happen, and defensively, I mean, Dan Quinn. It's funny because Coach Devon is in here, and I told Coach Devon I owed him 10 snaps last season. So, I mean, I can give Dan Quinn 10 snaps, get Coach Devon his 10 snaps. I'll go play defense if that's the case, because Dan Quinn just hypes me up when it comes to defense. And I'm like, yeah, I'm ready to roll. I'm ready to rock with it. But offensively, got to see how it pans out.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just add this one thing. I don't know if – I think they had an absolute fear that Detroit was either going to offer or had offered David Blau the offensive coordinator position, and that they wouldn't be able to get the guy that they wanted in case they lost Blau. So they went ahead and hired Blau to just prevent any potential, because, and if we think about it, right, McDaniel, I for sure thought he was going to get another head coaching opportunity, and he doesn't. Some people thought Dable might get a head coaching opportunity, and he doesn't. Some people thought Cliff would, and he doesn't, right? So you kind of never know how these things work out. And to me, if they really, really, really did not want to lose Blau, and it was very clear that they did not, and the only way to really keep him was that, because they weren't going to make Blau the head coach in Detroit. We knew that. So that was the only thing you could kind of do to keep Blau. Unfortunately, sometimes you have to make counter moves and maybe sign a guy. And this has happened in free agency, right? Sign a guy to as much prevent him from going to another team in your division as it is to help your team. And obviously you want him to help your team first and foremost, but sometimes it's like a preventative move as well.
Chris, I got to put you on hold for real quick, because I got my guy, the man, the myth, and the person that makes things happen, Coach Devon Powell from Laurel High School, Laurel High School's football coach, assistant basketball coach, the man that does a show on Monday nights with a guy that I know very well called the Midnight Rider.
I've heard of that guy.
Yeah, people say that he does shows on this network. He's everywhere. But
that guy gets on my nerves. That right, Lee Ice? I took a page from Lee Ice.
Steps into the building, and I know he's a Washington sports fan, and he was going to want to ask you some questions, Chris. So let's get my boy, my guy, Pretenders or Contenders, 7 p.m. Mondays on the Sideline Junkies Podcast Network, brought to you by two people that the world doesn't exist without, and that's Coach Devon Powell and the Midnight Rider. Let's make it happen, Coach Powell. So.
That was a great entrance from the hardest working man in podcast land. I appreciate that. What's going on, fellas? Everybody doing good today?
What's up, Coach?
Good.
Yes, sir. Hey, Coach.
Good. So I wanted to jump on. I had a few minutes in between of preparing my meal for tonight, getting my wings and stuff together for the night. So I wanted to jump on. And I see we had the man on here, Chris Russell, the man that knows it all. So I had to jump on for a few minutes.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. Don't know if you saw my first question. My question I asked in the chat earlier. Chris, what's your your most memorable Sonny call that you heard on the radio?
Oh,
Ooh, okay, I'm just seeing that now. All right. You know, I'll tell you this, Coach. And I don't know if this is per se memorable, but it was memorable to me, and I've been thinking about it a lot. So I take you back to 2011. I don't remember the opponent, but so this is Kyle and Mike Shanahan, and this is John Beck, Rex Grossman, post Donovan McNabb, pre Robert, and I remember them getting inside the 10-yard line, and Grossman was the quarterback, and I remember Sonny in the broadcast, and this was before Tony Romo started doing it. Larry was like, what do you think here, son? Whatever. Maybe they were coming out of a timeout or a break. I can't remember exactly. And he was like, third down. He's like, third and goal from the 8 or whatever it was. He's like, I'd spread them out and run quarterback draw. And that's exactly what they did. And Grossman, I think, plunged in for a touchdown. And we were all like, how did he know that? How did he guess that? And Sonny just had a unique way, of course, to relate, especially to quarterbacks. But guys, I'm telling you, one thing that was so impressive about him, I mean, he was sharp as a tack. Unfortunately, as people get older, right, they're in various different ways, they're not as sharp as they once used to be, cognitively or whatever, for various reasons. Sonny was so sharp and was so on it. And some of the things he would say would always make me go, whoa, okay, I wasn't expecting that. And he was right. And I didn't think about that. And that taught me something in that moment, and Sonny was really, really good at it. But that's one specifically that jumps out to me. Maybe another quick one would be we kind of figured out when the Redskins were backed up inside the 5-yard line that Kyle Shanahan liked to run I-back deep play action. And it was Sonny, I think, that first pointed it out. And then we all started noticing it. Almost every time that they were backed up inside the 5, they would run I-back, which of course looked like run, and they would run the play action, which further sold the run, and they would take a deep shot. And they did that a number of times with Kyle as the play caller. And I want to give Sonny the credit, for that, because he first noticed it, at least the way I remember it. And then we all picked up on it,
Chris Russell, you won't do this on my show. I swear. You will not bring up Mike Shanahan, Kyle Shanahan, play action pass, because I'm gonna tell you right now, I know for a fact it's Joe Gibbs and it's Kyle Shanahan or Mike Shanahan that we at the 40-yard line with a change of possession. We go on play action pass, and they throwing that post on the backside. Mm-hmm. And at that time, it used to be what's the guy that caught the pass on Darryl Green, his rookie year, in Denver. I can't think of his name right now, but that's the play. It's sensed in my brain, and I tell you right now, if I played anybody in Madden or whatever, I get to the 40-yard line, we're going play action pass, backside post, and it's my thing. It's my signature, Brady.
One other thing that I mean, and there's just so many memories that have come flooding back over the last couple of days, guys, when it comes to 9 and how lucky we all were, to be touched by him. So you guys will appreciate this. So back when, when I was traveling with the Redskins radio network, so 2010 through 2015, budget started becoming a thing, right? Like we traveled on the team plane, and we traveled, and we stayed at the team hotel, but the radio station had to pay for the hotel rooms, and I guess they charged per seat or whatever it was as part of the charter. I don't know how they did all that, and meals, right? So the last year that we were all traveling together, and this is, at this point, Sam is retired. So it's Cooley, Larry, Doc, Sonny, me, and a couple of engineers, and Chuck Sapienza, who was our boss and who was like the executive producer of the Redskins radio network. And so they started restricting his budget, right, for food, like specifically Saturday night. And I feel okay telling this because Chuck told it out on public the other day on Twitter. So he basically would fudge the dinner bill by saying that Sonny was out to dinner with us every Saturday night. But Sonny was never out to dinner with us because Sonny was so important that the Redskins would have him talk to clients and whatnot at Morton's on Saturday night before a road game. So Sonny was out to dinner with us every Saturday night, even though he wasn't, so that we could eat better, so that we could run up a bill. And Chuck would take a picture of dinner and be like, "Thanks, you ate well tonight," and send it to Sonny and send it to the group. And, Sonny always loved that because Sonny was like, he's like, "Tell your boss that I'm eating with you, so we're not going low budget," and Sonny would have a good time kind of messing around with the budget cutters. But that was the kind of guy that he was. He'd pretty much do anything for everyone, and getting to absorb some of his knowledge at some breakfasts, and stuff like that was just awesome. And I wouldn't do as much talking as I normally do. I would just do a lot of listening.
Lee Ice. Anything else for Chris? We get him out of the building because I feel like we hogging his time.
He's about to leave. You about to leave?
I mean, at some point I probably should get some work done, but I don't. I mean, you guys have been so nice to me. So
you want to stick around? Don't do this because we'll keep you for like another 3 or 4 hours.
Okay, let's not do that. Let's not do that. I love you all, but let's not do that.
Am I the only one that phone's about to die? And nobody's phone's about to die?
Nah, because I don't have my phone.
I'm all charged up, B. I'm good.
I was too when we started.
I'm on a laptop. So.
Hey,
I was just starting to tweet a bunch of Superbowl nonsense when I saw the message from Ben. So I was like, well, okay. I mean, like I'll come and join the guys. Absolutely. And here I am an hour and 15 minutes later, or something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Counting.
Yeah.
That's my guy.
You're just keeping me from doing bills so that, at this point.
There's a relationship that people don't even know. We are cool, and I tried to be as what's the word I'm looking for? I try to listen to the show as much as possible. And there's the Mark and Largo that I appreciate, but I don't always understand and like the Mark and Largo because whatever it is. And then there's Sabah. And I gotta give you credit because you as a radio personality give Sabah the length to be her in her personality, and I don't know if everybody would do that. I know Kevin,
yeah,
but Sabah is looking for. She's her own taste. You know what I'm saying? And
well, she's still in love with the quarterback. What was his name?
Yeah.
Taylor Heineke.
Taylor Heineke.
Yeah, Heineke. Oh Lord, have mercy.
Yeah. Well, sometimes I give her too much time, but I like the way I try and do the show, which probably pisses off my bosses, is I try and have more conversations than calls.
Yes,
You know,
you do.
and that's just kind of always been my style, and maybe that started because I worked overnights a lot, so you had more time, but there's a lot of radio shows, many of our shows that are, 45 seconds, boom, 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 in and out. And I look at those as, okay, it's great calls. You get more calls and you get more, voices in, but what kind of conversations are you having?
Mm-hmm.
And I try and look at the show as a conversation, not just like, not just rapid fire hot takes.
Yes, thank you.
So, I would just say, I mean, like, I enjoy talking to people, and sometimes I have to, with Little or
yes, Little.
Sometimes with Paulie, or sometimes with Lou, or whoever, or Doc, Dr. Sabah, I should say. Sometimes I have to cut them off. Sometimes I have to jump in and be like, come on. Some of that is for the show. Some of that is for the show, quite honestly.
So Chris, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna let you out here in the next couple of minutes, but I want each one of the guys to give you a question before we get out. So that way they can do their due diligence. So starting with KG, if KG is available. Let's go KG, Coach, Lee Ice, Flying Brian, Gentleman Jack. Because I hit you on Twitter, I won't hit you with a question to lead out. So let's do it that way. KG.
Anybody want to talk about the Wizards?
No.
Not yet.
Yo, Chris, you trying to start a whole nother hour conversation, dog? Because I'm all Wizards. I'm about what they doing, but let's keep you on the football spectrum.
Okay.
Because me and you, we both don't understand clocks and don't like clocks. So I'm gonna try to stay within the clock and go KG, Coach Powell, Lee Ice, Flying Brian, Gentleman Jack, and then let you out.
Well, KG. My question wouldn't be football related. It's a question that I've always wanted to know. Being in the same room with Coach John Thompson, who is somebody that I admired. Every time I called this show, I always told him it was an honor, and he would always tell me, I call him a legend. He'd be like, no, don't do that. But he is what he is, and that's a legend. But being able to be on shows with him and share a studio with him, like, what was that like?
Intimidating. Yeah. But I would tell you this, KG. I would say intimidating, but it like awesome at the same time. Like once you got like on his good side, and as long as you didn't do anything to piss him off, Big John was like a big cuddly teddy bear. Like you could just have a conversation with him. And, I was always afraid, like when he'd bring me on the show, like that I would ruffle his feathers or say something, maybe that criticized him inadvertently. Like if I said, well, I just don't get why, at that time, Mike Shanahan or whoever would do this. I was always worried that I was going to step on his toes as a coach, right? Because a lot of times, even though it's different sports, coaches can be, birds of a feather, right? And he never made me feel in any sort of way wrong about that. Now, I didn't criticize coaches maybe as much as others did, so maybe that was part of it, but John was, Big John was always, was always nice to me. I would say this, guys. I grew up in Big East country, in a different part of the country on Long Island, right? I grew up rooting for Syracuse, right? And how many bigger rivals did John and Georgetown have than Syracuse, right? So I didn't quite get him when I was younger. I didn't quite understand what he was about. When I moved here, and as I got older and as I got to know him, you understood what he was about. And it's hard to describe, but you understood the essence of John Thompson, and what he was trying to accomplish and how he was trying to accomplish it. And some of the stories that he would tell about Red Auerbach and, all of that, it just, and I didn't get to be around him every single day because a lot of the time I was at Redskins Park. But when I did during the off season, that's the shift I usually worked. So I was able to sit in studio and pop in and out and just shoot the shit with him, a little bit and got some wonderful times and exchanges and memories, with him. I would say, I spent more time with Sonny and that side of the crew as opposed to Big John, but, I was lucky enough to get that as well.
Coach Powell.
All right. Well, my question, we're going to go back to football, back to the Redskins. The Commanders. So with the changes that have been made, in your opinion, do you think that this is a make or break year for Dan Quinn?
Yes. Yeah, I really do. I don't call it the hot seat yet, Coach. I call it the very warm seat. But make no mistake about it, it's very warm. And I think that extends to Adam Peters too.
Yep, I agree.
Look, I know Josh has got a history for being patient, but it's hard to be patient when you see how changes and dynamics, between what Mike Vrabel has done with the Patriots this year, what Ben Johnson was able to do with the Bears, and what first year success these guys had, but then were unable to build on it, unable to sustain it. So I wouldn't say it's definite, like that they would both be out or one would be out if they don't make the playoffs, but I would say it's very possible. And I would say it's more likely Dan Quinn as opposed to Adam Peters. But I would say both are certainly in, again, I would say both are on the very warm seat because even when things were great last year, or I guess now the year before this passed, there was some wondering like, how are they doing this? Is it anything more than just Jaden being Superman? And the answer probably was no. And then they went out and made a big move for Marshawn Lattimore. And quite honestly, it was worse than any of us, I think, could have imagined.
Yeah.
So I would say they're kind of joined at the hip, AP and DQ. I wouldn't say that if one is out, both are out, but I would say that, again, both are on the hot seat, or a warm seat, I should say, and both need to, what's the nicest way I can say this? Both need to show significant improvement in their operations this offseason, and then when we get to the regular season, Dan Quinn, and even in training camp, like things have to be different in training camp, guys, in order to, and the preseason, in order to get people to not worry about what happened this year. And what I mean by that is every one of us, and I'm, I said it from word one, thought the offense was out of rhythm, offense was out of sync, and that camp was largely soft. And a lot of people thought, oh, it's just you being negative. Well, or it was me just telling you the truth of what I saw, and then that kind of worked itself out. So, I think things need to change and change quickly.
I agree.
Lee Ice.
All right,
The ice.
I really don't have a question for you, brother, but it's more of a request that you do right before you leave us. I do want to say a lot of times that I did disagree with you, and here I am saying you were right.
Thanks, Lee.
Chris, you mentioned earlier that you like talking to people, and that you just mentioned want to talk Wizards. I might know two guys that would like to talk to you and talk about the Wizards and other things on Tuesdays at 6:30. So if you needed to talk to somebody about the Wizards and stuff, I might know two guys who want to do that on Tuesdays at 6:30.
Okay.
What's the name of the show?
I think the name of the show is called Unapologetic Sports, and the guy we're talking to right now seems to fit that criteria pretty well.
Perfectly.
Whoa. Hold on. Time out. If we're going to talk basketball, there's only one show on the network that talks basketball from 7:30 to 8 p.m.
Wednesday.
And it's nothing but net.
We don't have to talk about Wizards at Tuesdays at 6:30. We can talk about anything you want.
And we don't apologize, Chris.
And we're not going to apologize for what we talk about.
Nothing.
Nope.
Well, hold on. Let me throw my hat in there, because if you want to talk wrestling, there's only one place to go, and that's Saturday nights on the mothership, 9 p.m. with the Saturday Night WrestleManiacs. So, I mean, you got a smorgasbord, but I mean, you got to come to the flagship before you go to anybody else.
Forget all what y'all just said. The best show in the world is the Pretenders podcast show on Monday night. Get all your high school fix in PG County on Monday night.
We're gonna start duking, Chris.
You guys are gonna have a Royal Rumble right here on the show. I love it.
Right.
I love it. Just reach out and we can try and figure out something. I mean, I can't always say that I'm available. Unfortunately, this Tuesday I'm not available. I got a previously scheduled dinner, and
no, in general, I'm just talking about in general. I love to get in contact with you. It's cool to part of the family and all that. It's great. I'm just having fun. But thanks for joining us. I know we really appreciate it. I honestly didn't know the big heated rivalry between my co-host and you. So maybe we can turn that into a rivalry and to get some viewers. Because as you mentioned, old Chad Dukes, his favorite thing in the world to listen to on the radio was fights on the air. So why don't we try to test that theory?
A little feistiness never hurt anybody.
Thanks again, man. Appreciate it.
We have been blessed for the last hour.
But not least.
Okay.
Last but not least, let me get this. So here I want to fast forward a little bit to draft. Commanders draft. So the Commanders are sitting, they don't have a second and they don't have a fourth. Both of those went to Houston. How important do you think this number 7 pick in the first round is going to be? And what would you like to see Washington pick up? And I'd like to tell you what I'd like to see after you're done.
I mean, number one, it's super duper uber crucial because when you're as talent efficient as they are in so many areas, while you're not going to be able to address everything, and especially like you mentioned, Jack, the lack of a second and a fourth round pick, you're certainly not going to be able to address everything. Now, I hope they're heavy in free agency, which I don't normally advocate, but that's the only way I think they're going to fix this roster pretty quickly and in the short term. And then that leaves us with a better idea of what they're going to need in late April. But I would like the way I assume, is they're not going to attack end edge sufficiently enough, in my opinion. So I still think that is going to be a top priority and a top need at number 7. I would prefer them to trade back inside the top 10 if they could, top maybe 11, where you're not going back that far. You could still get maybe, maybe if Ruben Bain slips because of the short arms, maybe if Caleb Downs slips a little bit because safeties are undervalued. Whatever the case might be, I would like them to still trade back to get an extra pick, maybe 2, depending on how it works, but stay close enough where they're not going from 7 to 20, if that makes sense. And if you say, well, stay at 7, I mean, of course it depends on who's available, but I would say pass rush, pass rush, pass rush, pass rush, because if you get the pass rush, it's going to make the job of your corners easier and safeties easier. And they didn't have it, and they got exposed for it, especially when DA went out, and it was already subject to concern before that. But you can't count on Dorrance Armstrong to come back and be the kind of force he was before the injury. And we don't know if Von Miller is going to come back, and we don't know if Jacob Martin's going to come back. I mean, I would love to see Jacob Martin back, and we don't know if Javonte Jean-Baptiste is ever going to get healthy. So to me, there's more than one need on defensive end edge pass rusher, that even if they sign a guy in free agency, which I would highly suggest that they do, you could still double down and try and make yourself not what they tried to build with Montez, Chase, John, and Duran, but you can fortify your pass rush and hopefully fortify your edge, where you're setting the edge and funneling guys back towards traffic, so that it helps you in both ways, but also while it's helping your secondary as well. So to me, it would be edge primarily. That would be my focus. I would love Reuben Bain because I think he's such a good edge setter, and because I think he's strong as a bull. And I don't worry about the short arms as much as others are going to. That would be my guy early on, as opposed to like the pure pass rusher in David Bailey, or as opposed to Caleb Downs. But if they can get one of those three guys, I would probably be happy. If they can get Reuben Bain, and especially if somehow they can get Reuben Bain at, 8, 9, 10, that would be awesome as well.
Chris,
that would be like the ideal scenario.
I agree with a lot of that, Chris. If they don't trade to, enhance some more picks, they're definitely Bain Bailey going to be somewhere, I think, in that 7 to 10 area. Mm-hmm. Definitely one of them. And I think free agency, as you said, is going to be huge for how Washington goes about this draft. Thanks for answering my question.
Chris, I thank you first and foremost for being a friend. Second, for being able to just
thank you for being a friend. Come on, sing along, y'all.
Are you Estelle Getty?
No, it's the thing that we do.
Look at my golden
like I know Lee Ice has had some issues with you and
That's okay.
And I know that KG loves you exponentially on every part of your being, even being part of the show. But for me and foremost, friend to friend, God to God, I gotta thank you just for being able to spend some time with us. But we got a show to do.
I understand.
You are a guy that doesn't like breaks and
no
and all those things. But I want to thank you for being here with us.
I appreciate you guys, and I admire y'all. And Lee, don't you ever be afraid to just speak your mind, baby. Even if it's not what I want to hear, and I'm cool with everything you said, but like, hey, we do it in a respectful way, right? And we value each other's opinions, and we're not all built the same, and we're not all thinking the same, and that's just what I try and bring to my little 3 hours, of radio. And I appreciate you guys and all the kind words, and thank you for everything, and love it, enjoyed it.
All right,
Thank
the
you so much,
request
man.
that I had, and the brothers here know, whenever they come on my show, gotta give me one. Put it up.
Dab it up.
Put it up. Put it up. Put it up.
All right, Chris.
Appreciate you guys. Happy Super Bowl Sunday.
You too. Don't eat too much.
Well, that's a little bit of a problem.
Right. That was nice.
Oh man,
KG, you good, man? You all right?
You get any comments today?
Notice. I'm gonna go ahead and say this. I'm gonna say this on air now. Midnight Rider, when I see you going to Suplex City, because you pulled a fast one on me, and it's the greatest fast one.
That's cool.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that, man.
Yeah,
That
I
was
don't think
great.
I don't think he told anyone. Ryder, you're on mute, man.
He know, I was in on it.
Okay, cool.
All right, I knew I had him in my hip pocket. I wasn't sure he was gonna be able to join, but it was kind of one of those things that, like, yeah, if I can get him, I can get him. And I apologize to Jeff.
Nice change up. Nice change up.
I apologize to Jeff because I know he was coming in with his New England.
Yeah, that's
prediction.
on you. That's
and
on
I
you.
apologize, but we had to give the person the space to operate, and that was Chris Russell. And I was going to let him go as long as he wanted to talk.
Agree.
And I know for a fact that Lee Ice it's Chris Russell. Like,
I didn't know that.
That wasn't that's the thing. So like this is what I love about us as a network is like we can just operate and we can make things happen in the spaces that we make it happen.
I'll tell you what, fellas, for this Super Bowl extravaganza, as you call it, we've had some nice viewership consistently. Has not dipped and swayed. It's been a solid little group of folks. So thank you, everyone, for hanging in. We must be entertaining you. So thank you.
Yeah, we're approaching 3 hours, and the numbers have stayed. So yeah, that's
yeah. I think we're gonna break the record, Midnight Rider. Midnight Rider set the record.
I'm gonna cut the show off short before we break the record of us.
What are you talking about? This list still pretty long, bro. We've only done 2 things.
I got everybody coming over at 2:00. I thought I had a nice hour gap between the end of the show and 2. I mean, I'm good. We do what we got to do. Hey, we got a good opportunity with Chris Russell and Lee coming up soon. So
I ain't got
tune
shit
in to
to
all
do.
Unapologetic.
Yeah, let's go here.
Let's go.
We got to give our we got to give our we've been teasing it all week. We got to give our predictions.
Before we do predictions,
shit, you got one now.
No. You know what? Let's do that. Let's do that because
predictions.
I don't know how much time you guys have, so let's everybody do their predictions. So, Flying Brian, starting with you. Predictions for the game.
Well, everybody knows by what I'm wearing, and if you watch Unapologetic Sports, I'm a huge Patriots fan. So, of course, no, I got Seattle 31-17. I think the defense is going to be overwhelming to Drake. Drake has not played great in these playoffs for whatever the reasons, whether the defense he's been playing, the nerves, young, whatever. I don't think that's going to change today. Huh?
What playoffs you been watching?
The one where he's got 5 touchdowns and 5 turnovers.
He still does what it takes to get that.
That's fine. He's been doing what that's fine. If you only got to score 10 points, if you only got to score 10 points to win the championship game, that's fine. That's what he did. I don't deny that. But he's been shaky. Let's not act like he hasn't. And I don't think that it's going to change this today. Obviously Russell brought it up earlier. The big question is Darnold. If Darnold doesn't see ghosts and start turning the ball over, I think they'll be fine. But obviously, if he does that, then it's going to depend on which defense makes the play at the right moment. But I'm going to take Seattle 31-17. And hopefully the commercials are really good too.
Man, I'll tell you, I ain't never been a commercial guy. Really. I mean, in the beginning, when you had the frogs and stuff, the Budweiser frogs and Spud McKenzie and shit. Yeah. But nowadays,
why?
These jokers over my head. Man. Oh, man. I guess since I'm running my mouth, let me just go ahead and throw my predicament. Everybody's talking about what is Darnold going to do, okay? Darnold's been a turnover machine all year. Darnold's got 14 interceptions on the season, So I think, and everybody's raving on the Seattle defense. New England's defense ain't no suckers. So I feel if Seattle can't get Walker and the running game going early, New England gonna pin their ears back and come after Darnold. And I just don't know if Seattle's front four, they haven't been killing it on defense in the playoffs yet. They've been banged up. They're not getting all the sacks like they were all season in the regular season. And for the running game for New England, everybody's thinking about Travion Henderson, but it hasn't been Travion. It's been Ramondre Stevens. Stevens has been. Oh,
Jack,
yeah.
I know you making your pick, but let's take a step back for a question. We were talking about New England, Seattle players. I don't know if everybody got onto this
210
thing.
Yeah, I got that.
But prior to 2010, do you have a player, at least three?
Many.
From the New England side and from the Patriots side.
Yes, I'm an old guy.
I know you are. I know Brian is.
Now Brian might have trouble with that.
I don't know if Coach is, but like let's go and delve into the memory lane.
Dude.
Levin?
So we're talking about players that played for the New England Patriots.
I mean, I clearly know a bunch of Patriots players before 2010 because all they did was beat Buffalo's ass.
What are we doing here?
I have no idea.
So players before 2010.
Not cool.
New England or Seattle.
Just you want to name off that we know?
Okay. It's okay.
Are we name players that played before 2010, before both franchises?
Yes.
We just naming them?
Not both franchises, just either or.
Oh, Tom Brady. What's it? Was it Bruschi? I can't think of the guy. What was it?
Teddy Bruschi.
Bruschi and Adam Vinatieri.
All right, so that's the Patriots. Jack, Patriots, before 2010, if you can. What you got?
Who I got? Craig James.
Yes.
Steve Grogan.
Yes.
What's that other dude's name? Oh. No, I can't think of what was my third one I had. Craig James, Steve Grogan, and Bob Windsor. The reason I said Bob Windsor, Windsor, tight end, played for San Francisco and New England, lived in Laurel, Maryland, had a sports shop, Windsor Sporting Goods in Laurel, Maryland. My mother used to buy the Blainsboro Boys Club sports equipment from Windsor Sports Shop in Laurel, Maryland. Bob Windsor, please.
So now Lee Ice is on you.
Since the gentleman wants to take it back, or I prefer to call him PG's finest, I'm going to go way back, buddy. I'm going to go probably one of the greatest offensive linemen, John Hanna.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. I forgot that.
I'm going to go, they used to call him all-world, Russ Francis, the tight end.
Oh, you stole. Yes, sir.
No, I ain't done. I'm going to get you on this one. And one of the greatest nicknames, fullback Sam Bam Cunningham.
Boss man, first and foremost, welcome to the show. Second and foremost, welcome back to the show.
Appreciate
Third
it.
and foremost, what you got?
We doing New England?
Yes.
Well, like Brian said, they've been beating the Bills' ass for 20 years, so we should know some. We should know some names. But I'm gonna go Ty Law.
Okay.
I'm gonna go Ben Coates.
Okay.
And I'm gonna throw a name out here. I don't want to. I'm gonna say. I'm gonna give you two: Chris Slade and Marion Butts.
Chris Slade.
Marion Butts.
Chris Slade went to
Need more
University of
butts.
Virginia, so you guys know. But that's only because of the human Google. Coach Vaughn Powell, if you got like 3 Patriots that you want to drop in the chat.
Well, the boss took Ben Coates. You had who was that? Irvin Fryer.
Oh yeah.
Yes, sir.
That's Lee's guy.
And then the dang it, who was the DB? Fred Marion.
Oh man, y'all
Yeah.
made this easy for me. I made a list of like 8 Patriots because I didn't think y'all was gonna be on my. I thought y'all was gonna be
Three strong.
Poor Drew Bledsoe. He can't even get. He never gets mentioned. He's forgotten everywhere.
Hey, I got one who doesn't get enough credit, even though he is a Hall of Famer, but he should be mentioned with one of the greatest cornerback ever, Mike Haynes.
Definitely.
All right.
He was returning punts and kickoffs before Dion.
Mm-hmm.
So my first and my favorite Patriot of all time. He wore number 30. His name is Mosi Tutupu. So that's number 1. And if you know what you know there's gonna be a person on the other side when the Seattle side come up that's gonna be the ice. There you go. Somebody said Irvin Fryer. I got Stanley Morgan as another one, number 86.
Wide receiver, right? Wide receiver,
Yes,
right?
sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I remember him.
And because Tony Eason got them to the Super Bowl, but Steve Grogan is the Patriot that the world should always revolve around. So that's my 3 on that side of the ledger. So let's go ahead and hop on the other side and talk about the Seahawks. I don't know if everybody's got their 3 Seahawks, but let's start with Flying Brian. Seahawks 3.
Was it Matt Hasselbeck?
Yes, let's go with that.
The guy that caught the ball. Oh no, that was the Green Bay guy. Matt Hasselbeck threw it to him. The Seahawks. Let's see. Before 2010, they sucked.
Don't worry about it. Just name players. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about the 2010.
Yeah, I know. I'm saying I'm trying to think of players before then because, you played video games and stuff as a kid, but the Seahawks were so terrible. None of the names are sticking in my mind.
Nobody played them.
I know.
No. Don't worry about that. Just give me 3 Seahawks that you remember.
Come on, I got you.
Yeah, you go help me, man. I'm drawing up because I can't. I'm thinking everybody but Russell Wilson in that era. I can't think of nobody before.
There's 2 Seahawks you got to mention hand in hand, and that's Jim Zorn and Steve Logic.
Right. That
counts as one right
in
there.
my head as you, yeah.
And then Cortez Kennedy, that was a bad man to Jim. And if you want to go back a little bit, Kenny Easley, safety, hard hitting safety.
Come on, man. You done took 2 of mine.
Who, Cortez and
Easley? Bro. You took 2 of mine.
I'm telling you straight up, I only had 7 names on this list. And I'm gonna throw an honorable mention for the Hawks because
you better not say.
No, I doubt y'all got this one. Because I'm even remembering this stuff from the old football cards I used to have. And I could see Zorn, he's on the sideline on a phone, on this one football card. And Logic, he's on the bench with his helmet on. And then I see this little chunky black-haired dude, Efren Herrera, the kicker.
Number 1.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
He used to be the Cowboys kicker.
Yeah, he only kicked in Seattle for like 2 or 3 years. He wasn't there long.
So
he had a brother that was a kicker too, right, y'all? Didn't Herrera have a brother that was a kicker? Who were the Zendejas is who the brothers were.
Those were the Zendejas.
Yeah. That's right.
All right, so Coach Vaughn, because you're the
what you got?
Youngest constituent of the group, I think.
I'm 46. I'm not the youngest. I'm 46.
I was going to say. I think
Yeah,
B's like
I'm only
38.
41. I got him beat.
Oh, are you?
Yeah, I'm
Oh, okay.
46.
So Brian is the
DJ.
youngest. All right, Coach. What you
DJ's
got?
Let the hair
younger.
fool you.
All right, I got I mean, you got to think about the running back, Chris Warren.
Oh yeah. Round the way. Round the
I
way.
mean, if you played Tecmo Bowl, you know you got to remember Chris Warren.
Smooth. He was smooth.
What's the guy? Mike Tice.
Yes, the tight end.
And dang it, I'm trying to think of the linebacker's name from back in the 90s.
Bosworth?
Yeah, Bosworth.
Oh
Yep.
yeah, the Boz. There you
Yep.
go. That's a good one. Yeah.
All right.
Lee
Ice.
Yeah. Jack stole two of mine, Kenny Easley and Cortez Kennedy. So I'm going to go with the coach. Ground Chuck Knox.
Oh yeah.
I'm going to go with a running back that I could not stand, but I respected him, Sean Alexander.
Okay.
And I'm going to go with a very, very underrated running back who doesn't get mentioned for the Hall of Fame. But if you look at his numbers during the time that he played and the amount of years that he played and the production that he had, the first Kurt Warner, number 28.
Oh, that's right. Kurt Warner. Forgot about that.
He was a rock.
Yeah. So those my three.
So hold on. My kickback. Did you say Kurt Warner?
The running back.
Kurt Warner, baby. From Penn State.
Yep.
All right. Go ahead, boss man.
I'm gonna leave one because I think Ben is going to tie Midnight Rider's going to tie something into what he said on the Patriots. So I'm gonna leave that name off. But did anybody say Joey Galloway?
No.
No.
All right. Did anybody say Warren Moon?
Nope.
Got about.
I forgot he was a Seahawk. Yeah.
My third one, y'all already said Cortez Kennedy, but let me tell you why I can't forget that. I don't know if y'all remember. I think this was the early 90s, and they were running, the NFL was running like a Halloween promo where I can't remember if it was a bag of chips or a soda top, and you would get this code. And they had the different NFL players would transform into Halloween monsters, and I got Cortez Kennedy. And I'll never forget that, man. It was so cool. He talking his regular voice, and he come on in the scary, monster voice and everything. So I'll never forget that one. So Cortez Kennedy for me, Joey Galloway, Warren Moon. I had another one, but I'm not gonna still ride.
Hey.
I'm gonna let him go.
I was trying to get Ryder.
Say the last one you got.
Manu Tuyoso Sopo.
Okay.
Woo.
So I think you guys left the most obvious two off the list, and one is Jim Zorn, and two is Steve Largent.
I said both of them.
Yeah, Jack gave me those because I couldn't come up with any
I
others.
wasn't sure if y'all said that. Okay.
I combined them.
If
KG
KG
got to count as one.
If KG was on the show, he would have already said Jim Zorn because that's his favorite person of all time is Jim Zorn.
He's horny for
I
Zorny.
hope that's not his favorite coach.
Favorite coach of all time. I ain't even gonna go on him because he's not here to defend himself. So
that's the best time to go on.
I'll go here.
I hear you, Devon.
Since we talking Seahawks, let's go Lofi Tutupu, son of Mosi Tutupu. Let's go Seattle. Somebody said Kenny Easley. So I'll give him that. Who else am I missing? Seattle Seahawks prior to 2010.
I'm surprised nobody said this.
Go ahead, say it.
Sean Springs.
Yes, there it is.
I had his jersey. I had his Seattle jersey. Yep.
Yeah, Sean Springs.
What I miss because we We did Seahawks. Did we do Patriots yet?
Yeah.
All right.
That's what we started with.
All right, let's go. So KG's not here for Super Bowl trivia. So let's go to this. Your favorite Super Bowl memory. And we'll get out at good God. Yeah, we done 3 hours of show. And boss, that's probably the reason why Boss Man said it's because we've done too much show. But your favorite Super Bowl memory, and we'll go Devon, Brian, Jack, Lee Ice, Boston, and me.
For what?
Favorite Super Bowl memory. And if you got a 3, do your 3. But if you want to do 1, that's fine.
But I mean,
So-
I was thinking about this last night, and with the majority of us being Commander fans, we got several to say, "Oh yeah, that 83, whatever, yeah, 92, blah blah blah." So I mean, is that what we go? Damn. Hey Brian, yeah, I just got battery running low alert.
Yeah. I got it on a charger and I'm still at 3%.
Me too.
Hanging on, man. Hanging on.
Coach Powell, and then we're gonna go to the rest of everybody. Brian. Super Bowl memories.
Unfortunately, for a Bills fan, and this just knows how bad the situation is in the Super Bowl for us, the best moment for a Buffalo Bill fan in the Super Bowl is Don Beebe running down Leon Lett in one of the biggest blowouts in the history of the Super Bowl. I mean, that's the best. I mean, I know Thurman had a great game against the Giants, and there was moments in that Super Bowl, but like that's the one play. If you talk about Bills fans, if you're not a Bills fan, you talk about the Super Bowls. Oh, remember when Don Beebe ran? Yeah, I remember when Don Beebe ran Leon Lett down, so he didn't set the record for the most points scored in the Super Bowl. Yeah, I remember. So that's the biggest moment for a Bills fan. But me personally, my son's a Rams fan. As you can see, they got Rams stuff in the back. They won the Super Bowl a couple years ago, so that was actually a huge moment for him and my family. So that would be, I guess personally, would be the Rams winning overall. But as a Bills fan, it's Don Beebe. That's all we got.
And then number 3.
Oh, third moment. I guess last year, Patrick Mahomes getting his ass whipped. As a Bills fan, I guess that was a little bittersweet to watch. The guy that we for some reason can't beat, and to watch him get stomped. I guess there was a little bit of a
haters.
Yeah. Hey, unfortunately, when you're again as a Bills fan, when it's Super Bowl time, there's not much really to celebrate besides looking forward. That's why again, I'm big Sam Darnold guy. Come on, Seahawks, beat the damn Patriots. Well, I got to root for it. I want another Patriots Super Bowl win again as a Bills fan. But
Coach
yeah,
Powell.
those are my 3 weird ones.
Coach Powell, you're 3.
So, I mean, of course, being a Redskins fan, I mean, you got to go back to Doug Williams and, that ass whooping that they put on Denver. Also got to go to, for some reason, that year, I can't remember the year that the Falcons went to the Super Bowl, the Dirty Birds, and what'd you say, Ben?
Was it 28-3 or was it the other one?
No, not when they lost to the Patriots.
Okay.
The ones when they were tearing up the NFC. They had the running back
Jamal
Anderson.
Yep.
Yeah. So even though they lost that year, that was a good team. So I remember that game. And then you said 3 of them?
Yep.
I'm gonna combine any time that the Patriots lost the Super Bowl was always memorable. So yeah. That's what I got.
Jack, take it away.
Oh man. One, it's the Washington Super Bowl where and I might have been in attendance with your parents, Flying Brian. I'm pretty positive they were in the house at the Coleman Manor American Legion Super Bowl party when Washington beat Buffalo. And I was young, man. I was probably 20. I don't think I was drinking age, but I was crushed.
So you weren't drinking age, but you were drinking though.
yeah, crushed. So I'm up in there, and it's a big dinner at the Legion. You pay like $100, and you get to watch Super Bowl. They serve lobster tail, prime rib, pit beef. So I'm walking around helping serve the food, and I got my buzz on talking about, yeah, we serving some some buffalo meat. We got buffalo meat. And I'm serving that. Next thing you know, I'm calling it quarterback meat. We're serving quarterback meat. Then we break it down. What we're going to eat? Quarterback meat. How we going to eat it? Raw. Everybody remembers that chant back in Little League. And then, I just remember that because I was at the Legion with my family, and that's what my family did every year for the Super Bowl. They had a big party at the Legion, and they got fed well, and that was my first year to come and participate. So that's a great memory. And I tell you, my second one is, I think it was Super Bowl 50, 51, when it was either 50 or 51, I think, when New England came back and beat the piss out of Atlanta in overtime after being up, I think it was 21-3 at the half.
28-3.
So 28-3. That one there is a good memory because, I thought I sold the farm, dude. I thought I lost everything. I had a huge bet on that. One of the biggest bets I've ever put on a game was on that Super Bowl. I had New England to take it all, and I put $5 on it. I ain't never bet $5 on nothing. So I'm sitting at halftime, and I'm crying on the back porch. I'm drinking more. I'm crying. Then next thing you know, they yelling, Jack, they're coming back. They're coming. What? And so to win that in overtime, that's a memory. And I thought we were just doing one, but I'll try to think a third. Yeah, like I say, a third's got to be any other Redskins Super Bowl. The Doug Williams one was phenomenal. Timmy Smith, he balled out. He gone, one and done. But that one right there, the Doug Williams Super Bowl has definitely got to be in my top two, so in my top three. So that's what I got there, guys. It was good just going back, thinking of your Super Bowls. I enjoyed that part. So good segment.
All right, boss. To hell with this segment, okay? I will never participate in this shit ever again. Do you hear me?
Zeros.
Okay. All right. Both times the Giants beat the Patriots. Okay?
You probably got 4 good memories.
Both times the Giants beat the Patriots. The go-ahead pass to Plexico Burress from Eli Manning to beat them. The David Tyree catch to beat the Patriots. But if we take the Patriots out of the equation, I think for me, and I know I'm the youngest in the panel, and I don't have if Buffalo won the Super Bowl, I would probably have a star moment from Buffalo. But to me, I think it was the greatest pass catch combo that I seen that I couldn't believe was made, and that was Roethlisberger to Holmes. That pass, and that catch, that tap in the back of the end zone with the entire Cardinal defense there, that was a great play to go ahead and win that for the Steelers. So, y'all, you got me this year. Y'all won't see me on next year's show talking about your greatest Super Bowl memories. You hear me? This is a one and only time I'm gonna do this until Buffalo conquer that mountain. Super Bowl, like me and Flying Brian keep saying, is one franchise in the world that bad memory after bad memory, after fumble, after lost helmet, after whatever you want to name. So enjoy your Doug Williams blowout. Enjoy your look, y'all have fun, man. Go ahead, Ryder.
All right, no, so mine are simple. And it's funny that you say Buffalo and you put Buffalo in the mix. But I think 3 for me is the David Tyree catch. As one of my Super Bowl memories. I don't know what my sobriety was at the moment, but that's number 3. Number 2 was Terrell Owens fighting through whatever he had going on. That's one of the biggest moments for me. And
With
then
Philly?
number 1
Yeah.
is easy. If you love burgundy and gold, you love it to your soul. If you like to be in the place to be, it's 4th and 1, Miami.
I got that diesel.
We got Rigo. We got my boy.
I got that diesel.
Wow.
4th and 1. My boy Otis Monsley.
20 chip.
Whatever, 40 chip, 20 chip, whatever the chip is called.
Right there.
Yo, there's no greater moment than watching a dude that weighs 225 pounds block for a guy that's 240 pounds. And for the fact, I don't even know if everybody on the panel knows that Otis Monsley, like, he sat down and had lunch with me the year after, 2 years after that Super Bowl, or a year after that Super Bowl, because I was in the wrong place. I went to the bathroom as a kid, and he was like, "Oh, I came back and I ended up in the wrong lunchroom," and it was me and Otis Monsley chilling.
Damn.
And Otis Monsley,
Favorite Redskin ever.
39 will always be my favorite player, above and beyond, because of that moment in Carlisle, that I got to hang out with him.
That's one of the earliest things I found out about you, MR, was that Wansley story when me and you were just mixing it up, possibly off air. I think we were talking when you first told me.
So that year, it was, I met May and Grim in the forefront, right? Coming into the building, and then that lunch was Wansley. And then after that, it just became a thing. And one of the funniest things that came out of that sequence was all the guys would be on a bus, because this was the Pigskin Club of Washington, D.C., and we sent buses up. And so the guys on the bus, they were like, all right, who's the guy that you want to keep on the team? Right? And there was a running back out of Northeast Louisiana named Brian Mitchell.
Jack's phone just died.
And I told everybody in the room that I think Brian Mitchell's going to make this team. I think he's going to do his thing. And of course, Brian Mitchell returns the kick, I think, on his first game for a touchdown at I think they were in North Carolina. I forgot I think they were playing the Falcons at that time. And he returns the kick for a touchdown. And that's when everybody that was on the bus with us, like, restarts for my dad, was like, yeah, Brian Mitchell became the reason that everybody would sit on the bus with us and be like, all right, who's your guy this year? So, yeah. All right, we 313 in. What you guys got? Let's go to, because KG's
Can I say my memory?
Yeah, go ahead and say your memory.
I'm gonna do it real quick. One of them happens every year. Every year, you know, I'm old school. Every year, whether it's the NFL Network, ESPN, they do the Super Bowl marathon, and I always watch 1 through 18. After 18, I don't watch it because. And go on YouTube and watch Super Bowl 14. I like all of them, of course, ours. But watching those first 18 and listen to the god of the NFL, John Facenda, narrate those Super Bowl highlights. There is nothing, and I'm going to say it again, there is nothing better than watching the old school highlights, listening to John Facenda, and the music in the background. There's nothing better than that. That's my number 3. Number 2, of course, is all the skin Super Bowls, 26, 22, 17. I mean, that's number 2. My number 1 will always be when we was going to our first Super Bowl. The feeling that I had the Friday at school talking shit, saying, yeah, my team is going to the Super Bowl. We going to the Super Bowl. The first time watching your team go to a Super Bowl. There's nothing that you can't experience that. The only thing that tops that, and I hope Boss Man and Fly Guy, I hope y'all experience it one day, is the feeling you get after your team wins the Super Bowl. I'm telling you, there's no better feeling as a football fan that you feel than after your team has won a Super Bowl. There's winning and going to the Super Bowl, and the only thing that tops that is winning the Super Bowl. Those my memories.
KG has jumped into the building. So KG, what you got?
You know me about Jim Zone, BJ. Hold on. Only reason why I love Jim Zone the way I do is because of the clip you sent me and how he changed Jason Campbell into a pocket presence aware quarterback. I'll give him that. He is a quarterback.
When he was hitting them in the head with those things,
he taught him how to step up in the pocket. He's a quarterback whisperer. And I said, if I ever started a team, he would be my quarterback coach, because every quarterback he's ever worked with had their career season after he worked with them. Check the numbers. Now, I'm going to say this real quick, and then I got to go. My 3 Patriots, Russ Francis, Tony Eason, and Chris Slade. My 3 Seahawks. I said Kurt Warner. Everybody said Kurt Warner. Dave Craig. And who else did I have? I had Jim Zorn, Dave Craig, and Steve Largent were my 3. Because, it's not really many, but those are my 3 Patriots. And
so,
if I throw
to interrupt you, I had you on Eason, Grogan, Eason, and what's the other one you named?
Russ Francis.
Russ Francis, all world.
Russ Francis, that was the first one. Dog, you don't even know how much I know you, because Russ Francis is the first name that I had on my list because I knew he was there. And
I'll say, as far as Super Bowl memories go, don't laugh at me, but probably the greatest Super Bowl memory I can remember. It wasn't a game that I watched, but I watched the film of it. Max McGee's behind the back catch from Bart Starr in Super Bowl 1. Probably the greatest catch in Super Bowl history, in my opinion, because it was thrown behind him. He caught the touchdown. He should have won MVP in that game. They should have split the MVP in Super Bowl 1 between him and Bart Starr.
All right.
I thought you were going to say my Earl Morrow, Mr. Wide Open Receiver in Super Bowl number 3.
You had Russ Francis.
That's all I'm going to say.
Okay.
All right, gents.
All right, man. So guys, y'all don't know, but I had a side bet on KG's list, and I knew Russ Francis was going to be number 1, and so he nailed that. I thought he would have had Stanley Morgan and somebody else, but it's okay. But Super Bowl Sunday extravaganza, we've gone to the extremes of doing this, and it's fascinating that the boss man's here because we've gone over time. But let's get to a bigger piece of the show that we do, and that's what you eating. So fellas, what are you eating today?
Seafood. Anybody? Eating seafood, crab cakes, and crab. I live in Maryland, near Baltimore. So we eating crab cakes and crab imperial and shrimp and stuffed shrimp and steamed shrimp and
Lake trout.
doing it doing it the stereotypical Baltimore, Maryland way, eating lots of crab and seafood.
Lee Ice, talk to me.
Wow.
I got some drumsticks. I don't know if I'm going to barbecue them or smother them.
Okay.
Shit outside.
All right.
We're gonna
Jack
have a
Clark.
smorgasbord. We're gonna have a smorgasbord of dips and chips and shit and salsas and buffalo chicken dips and stuff. But we're gonna do shrimp, pork tenderloin. Yeah, shrimp, pork tenderloin. And my wife picked up some what are those things called? Peruvian pretzels with beer cheese. I'm looking forward to that. I ain't had no beer cheese in a while.
That's good stuff.
So, yeah. Thank you, man.
Boss man.
I was going to have the missus come on, but I think we're doing barbecue chicken, roasted potatoes.
She walking in the room.
That was like a mythical being
We have a
coming in the way
barbecue
with.
chicken, roasted potatoes, and string beans. I just got finished cooking.
There we go.
Snacks?
Oh, wow.
What snacks? Oh, we got chips and dip and all that other good stuff.
Right.
You know what? No, no.
I call liquor snacks.
Yes. Yes. That too. Got that last night.
She holding back because she's the new face of the place. She's been doing some great
Let's give it up for. I love it. I love it. DJ
That's why our
Smooth.
numbers are what they are right now because of that video we put out.
Yeah. She's doing it well. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
The real boss.
And then lastly,
yes, you know.
I'll end this in the way I can only end this is I think I'm doing ground chicken. I think I'm doing ground chicken, onions and peppers, in a spaghetti type of thing. So that's how you get it from the Midnight Rider. But with all of that being said, ladies and gentlemen, 3 hours, 21 minutes, 38 seconds as the seconds go on. You got a slow extravaganza from the greatest guys put on earth. You got Lee Ice, you got Flying Brian, you got Boss Beat, you got Gentleman Jack, you had KG, you got Chris Russell, and I want to give a special moment to Chris Russell because like he's my guy and he will always show out and show up for us. We got just people wanting to be part of this network, and first and foremost, that's the one thing I want to let you guys know is I'm appreciative of this network, appreciative of what we do. But the one thing that we do that everybody else can't do is be great every time we step on this plate and do what we do. Like you can't walk in on a Monday evening and do pretenders and contenders and deal with that. You can't walk in to drive time at 5 p.m. on a Monday and expect the greatness that you're going to get. On a Tuesday, you can't get unapologetic sports at 6:30 and be the greatness and do the greatness that they are. You can't do at 7:45 what is called, the Tuesday night flight with the greatest
The best theme song.
The greatest theme song.
And on Wednesdays, 7:30, you get nothing but that. At 8 p.m., you get in the passenger seat. On Thursday, you get 7:10, you get Thursday Night Throwdown. And I'm sorry, I'll say it correctly. The Thursday Night Throwdown. That's how you get it, baby. And then Saturday morning, 11:30 a.m., you get the Gridiron, the greatest show, the greatest fictitious college football show in the world, Craig.
In the world, Craig.
9, you get the Sunday WrestleManiacs, and you come back here to this place, in this space, the Sunday Rise with the guys, and we do what we do. And with all that being said, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children over ages, we particularly like to ask you and thank you for your participation. And we'll see you on our network and in our space.
Patriots 20, Seahawks 17. Book it.
Brian, what you got?
Seahawks 34-21.
All right. Brian?
Patriots 17, Seahawks 31.
I'll take the Seahawks to win this 27-17. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining the greatest show in the world, Craig, in the world. Let's have a great day. Enjoy this.